Both players down to under 10 seconds. The rook now takes a pawn. Bishop coming out, gives a check, gives another check, sacrificing the rook. That freezes him. Valuable time. The knight now comes out, gives another check. King has to move. Both players down to under 5 seconds. No time is given back with 0.5 seconds left on the clock. All right, so this is the TheCager Chess Championship. All right, there are 2 sections of players, the 1700 and under and the open section. Everyone gets 2 lives. What will happen is I will spin a wheel which has everyone's name on it for how many lives you have. So if you have 2 lives, you have 2 entries on the wheel. 2 players will get selected. They will face off. Once 2 players get selected, we will spin a game wheel, which is a variant wheel, which a bunch of different chess variants and regular chess on it. The player who gets selected first of the 2 when choosing players will have the option to respin the wheel. They will be playing with the black pieces, and they have the choice to respin if they don't get a variant if they want. This will go on until there's only 1 person alive. That is what we're doing. And now to introduce the players, first we have Demon HMY, a fan favorite and a final, somebody who makes it to the finals a lot, but does not win. All right, at least they make it to the finals, which is good. Can't say that for some people. I wish them the best of luck. They're around 1500. Jewel General, much of the same. I haven't really seen them outperform their rating. They're around, I think, 1200. I wish them the best of luck. Then we have Mr. 19 for real, aka freaking Mr. Vegeta in chat, which Vegeta is crazy. I wish them the best of luck. They have not won a tournament. Actually, now that I realize it, we're gonna crown a new winner in the 1700 under section today. We also have Parth Chess, a long-time player in many of these tournaments. I wish them the best of luck. Then we have Drapole, my lovely, lovely mod who has designed a bunch of artwork for my channel, including these little guys up here, and the logo, and virtually every other graphic and design that you see here he has done, which absolutely goated individual. And then we have Amon Cool Chess, who originally was going to play in the open, but decided to drop back down. They are around that threshold, so they're able to do that. So I wish them the best of luck. I don't believe they have gotten a win either. And now in the open section, we have Tog. He is probably the favorite to win everything. He's won several championships before in his time. So I wish him the best of luck. And then we have Ameku Chukwu, which isn't currently here, but maybe they'll show up. There's a chance that they show up. If they don't, then they'll just lose a life anytime their name comes up on the wheel. I wish them the best. I think they're actually around 2200. They're a pretty high level rated player. Then we have General CR7, I believe the second favorite to win the open, right next to King XE4. General CR7 is probably around, I think, 2200. So I wish them the best of luck. They have not won before. Then we have King XE4, the person with the most wins ever. I think they have around 4 to 5 championships under their belt. Will they get another? Next, we have KV the Best, who is the lowest rated person in the open bracket. They are around 1700 rapid, and they wanted to play in the open section of this tournament, so I wish them the best of luck, and hopefully that decision pays out. And then we have Bruh, I don't know. I don't know. They may or may not be here. If they show up, nice. If they don't, oh well. But all right. Without further ado, I believe we are able to start the tournament today. All right, we're gonna be flip-flopping between the 1700 under and the open section. So let's go ahead and see who's going to be playing in the under. All right, we have all of the players here. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel. I wish them the best of luck. Who will be playing first? All right, all right. Let's get it. Can I switch if possible if you consider it? No, I mean... Wait, hold on. Wait, give me a second. Also, Drew General, you got selected first. The famous teen, you're not in right now. So why are you saying if you can switch? I don't have you in. But you say you're under 1700? What do you have to... I'm confused by that. Anyway, Jewel General getting selected first. Let's see who their opponent will be. Now, Jewel General, since they are selected first, they are going to have the option of a respin when we get to the game wheel. So good luck. Also, please, everyone, go over to the variants page of chess.com. No, I'm not going to replace people. I don't need to replace people in this tournament. If it was a bracket style, then yes, but not here. All right, this is not a bracket style, so I'm not going to put you in, man. I already said I wasn't going to do that. But Mr. 19, for real, you have been selected. Your opponent is around, I think, 1,000 to 1,100. So this will actually be a pretty even matchup. I wish you the best of luck. And let's go ahead and see what game y'all will be playing. Now, Jewel General, you do have the option of a respin if you do not like this game. Let's see what the game will be. And it will just be 3+2 blitz chess. It is just regular chess. Do you want to participate or do you want to respin? Miss Vegeta, you do not have a say in the respin. Jewel General, it is up to you. What is your choice? No respin. All right. And that means that we are going into, it's going to be Jewel General versus Mr. 19 for real, aka Mr. Freaking Vegeta. Please go over to the variants page of chess.com and I will get you invited to the match. All right. Stokes, I'm not going to respond to that, mate. Even though I did technically just respond to it. All right. Please go over to the variants page and I will get you invited. The time control will be 3+2. Jewel General will be playing with the black pieces. With Mr. 19 for real with the white. All right. Both players are in. Mr. 19 for real with the white pieces. Jewel General with the black. Let's kick things off with our first matchup. Good luck. Good luck. The game is going. Who will take down the first win and start a chain reaction of them winning the rest of everything? We're now actually going to be stat keeping or record keeping all of the tournaments. So we kind of know exactly who does the best and what and everything under those lines. Who plays the most, who does the best. HMYK, what did you say? By the way, you should post the sheet link in Discord so people can see if they want. Okay, I will. I think that would be neat, actually. And already we have Sicilian by Joe General. We have an open Sicilian with black playing very actively. White now already with doubled pawns onto the B file. And actually black just being up a full pawn right now. Straight out the game, this is very good for Jeweled. The bishop simply drops back, getting out of danger. Keeping the pin on the pawn, which is interesting. Now the queen kind of is tied to this defense. I don't how do you even misclick that? How do you even misclick that? Well, we have a misclick straight out the gate. Okay, see you, Stokes. Bye, mate. Don't stream with the setup in all streams. We need posture check. Oh, I can't. Okay, and Mr. Vegeta is already okay. Already gonna lose a life. Don't worry, you're not out of the tournament, even though you have already kind of messed up a bunch. Yeah, immediately losing the first game, which it is what it is. But if you're just gonna sandbag, mate, okay, yeah, gives a check. King will have to move, or the queen can block, and the game is pretty much decided. I mean, yeah, this is rough. Yeah, it just develops out the bishop. Now a queen trade will happen, and black will take this game away pretty quickly. All right, the variant was just regular 3+2 chess. There was no variant to this one. All right, and we see castles by black. Both players with a little over 2 minutes on the clock, but the game was already decided, especially with black or with white being down a full rook and a knight. So, oopsies. They can claim wins, though. That's what's wrong with variant. I mean, yeah, but they have to be up by 30 points. So it's like, technically, yeah, but not really. Like, yeah, like you have to be up by 30 points to actually claim a win. And that's also like not even really possible for that to happen. Not to flex, but I beated Tog in Crazy House at CCC Final. Amazing. Then sacrificing piece will be difficult. Well, you have to sacrifice 30 points of material. Do you know how much material that is? Like, it's not something that can actually reasonably happen. It's not realistic to happen. But the rook slides over to the open file, putting pressure on the pawn. We see a check with the knight. We're probably just going to see recapture and then recapture. Jewel General looking very strong in his first game. I mean, it helps when your opponent kind of messes up a little bit. Oh, yeah, I remember that HMYK. I remember that when I made Oh, so Terpoli is a winner. That is right. I forgot about that. That is actually very funny. All right, but we will see the conclusion of this game fairly soon. I forgot about that when y'all when y'all pissed me off so much that I just gave the win to Terpole. There is no song request. There is stream element still is not working, or at least the last I've checked, it's not working. So song request is not active at the moment. The bishop takes another pawn. And it's, yeah, the bishop comes out, putting pressure onto the rook. But even you could give up this exchange and still be completely winning. Sorry, I still need to wake up. I am still trying to wake up. But welcome in, everyone. This is the TheCager Chess Championship. I hope you all are having a fantastic morning, and we're kicking things off with not probably the most competitive first game, but it is what it is. The rook is low-key getting completely trapped. You can't really put it anywhere. Jewel General just needs to clean up the game. But Jewel General has yet to win a TheCager Chess Championship, but already taking life off one of his opponents is very good. Very good start. Unless stalemate. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, it was getting demolished is an understatement. This was a baptism. Also, Derpole, when you have time, could you make more of these little guys? Make more of these little guys at the top of the screen by chance? I'm designing like a face cam screen for the beginning of streams, and I want like a lot of them. Like, I already have a good chunk, and the chess screen is also looking nice. But yeah, just sacrificing a pawn. There's literally nothing you can do at this point. Jewel General just needs to trade off the rook and then convert a checkmate. We do see takes. Rook is going to come behind the pawns and just get behind and gobble everything, or give a check first. Totally fair. King comes forward. Now, this would be a generational fumble to lose this game. Okay, this would be a generational fumble. Yeah, it gives a check. King has to come forward, and now you can actually. Well, you had a moment there where you could have just force traded off the rook, and won the game. That would have been neat. But we will continue the game. I imagine White will either resign or just run out of time soon. Well, honestly, if y'all make some art, I'm always down to look at it. Stretch. I don't think you'll have enough time for a reset, mate. I know you're trying to, but... But yeah, if anyone wants to make art, you're very much welcome to. I can't guarantee you that I will use it, but it is kind of what I want to do. All right, now we're going to see a reset mate, which, dude, I don't want you to do a reset checkmate just because it takes a really long time, man. Like, there's a reason why I kind of, like... I would make everything 3-0 to prevent this from happening. So, yeah. Please just go ahead and deliver a checkmate. I don't want you to do a reset checkmate, even though it is like cool to look at. It takes a lot of time out of the tournament, and I know people have places to be, things to do, and frankly, I don't want to add extra time to this when I don't have to, you know? And almost giving a checkmate. This actually, yeah, the king is running all the way forward. Gives another check. King comes up. Honestly, just go promote the pawn and then deliver a checkmate. That's kind of what I would do. Or you could slide the rook over and continue to restrict the king. King literally can just move between these 4 squares, and that is it. Okay. All right. Anytime now. The game will conclude soon enough. Okay. Now, I just... Please just checkmate. I'm having deja vu right now, which is actually kind of crazy. I'm having full on deja vu. That is genuinely kind of nuts to me. Just push the pawn and make, like, there's no, you're just going to end up losing this. Which, by the way, if there's a draw, it goes into a 1-minute bullet match. But, like, now you're almost stalemated. You almost stalemated him, dude. Like, I can't. Oh my God. Please. I'm not trying to be mean about this, but, like, my guy, come on. Gives a check. The king runs over. Drops back. The king now has 2 squares to move. Just promote. For the love of God, please. This is worse than you trying to get a reset checkmate, dude. Oh my God. Please just make a goddamn queen. Okay. And Jewel General does, in fact, take this one down. Congratulations to him. My God, that took way longer than it should have. But he got there. So that means that, Mr. 19, for real, you are going to go ahead and lose a life. You're not out of this tournament, so please stay tight. Also, another rule that I do need to clarify is people cannot play in back-to-back games until there is only 4 people left. So yeah, that's that. So now, going on to the open section. Let's go ahead and see who's going to be playing. All right. Who will be playing in the open section? Good luck. So Tog, you are being selected to play first. Let's see who your opponent will be. Who will you be playing against? All right. Now, if it's somebody who is not here, and it's going to be KV the best. All right, this is going to be a good showing for KV, whether or not he's capable of taking down a very high competitor. So it's going to be Tog versus KV the best. Now, Tog, you do have the power of choice. So you are going to be able to respin the wheel if given the chance. I need to go ahead and edit this. Okay. All right, let's see what the game will be. Also, another reminder is that a game cannot be played twice. There's multiple like 3+2 blitz, but for a variant, it's only going to be played a single time during the tournament. All right, Tog, just a reminder, since you were selected first, you do get a respin. You get the black pieces and a respin. And we're going to get petrified. Your pieces turn into stone. You can win by checkmate or stalemate. And king cannot capture. I will hydrate. Tog, do you want to respin? Do you want to respin or do you want to play? Okay, we are going to respin petrified. Also, just a reminder, a respin does not remove it from the wheel. It can possibly land on it again. Are we going to get spell chest? And we're going to get spell chest. Spell chest is the game selected. Tog will play with the black pieces. KV with the white. Both players, please go over to the variants page of chess.com and I will get you invited. All right, we have spell chest. You get access to freaking spells. It's sick. The time control will be 3-0. You do not get any time back. I'm going to invite the players. Yeah, please go over to the variants page of chess.com. Now, spell chest, you get 2 spells, and there's delays in between when you can use a spell. One spell is a jump spell, where you can phase a piece through another one. It basically allows you to jump over a piece. This can allow the queen to capture a king by phasing through a pawn. There's also a freeze spell, where you're able to freeze a 3x3 square, around the freeze for a turn. I explained that awfully. We'll do better. All right. Both players are in. KV the best with the white pieces. Tog is here with the black. The first game of the open section. This is KV's introduction into playing with the big dogs. I wish you the best of luck. Tog is by far the fan favorite, or not the fan favorite. I feel like Tog is the villain most of the time. Okay. Hello, Zigzy. How's it going? Tog is generally considered the villain. King xe4 is like the non-villain, but we will see. Immediately freezing the king side and trying to go for an early gambit. But the thing is, you're probably going to be able to counter free. Actually, You might be able to counter freeze the queen and then use a jump spell to take the rook, but I could be incorrect about that. I'm not entirely sure of the play. You can also move your king, but what KV is trying to do is basically freeze these pieces and then use a jump spell on this pawn to capture the king. But this is a very early gambit, and I'm not sure if it will actually function. I could be completely wrong, though. Is this actually lost? Oh, because then the other bishop will come out and actually put... yeah. And KV the Best actually just pretty much straight up winning. Because now this bishop comes out. And there is no way to stop either of these attacks. I believe you can give a check first, though. If I'm wrong about that, please correct me. But I think you can just capture the king, and that will be game. Already straight out the gate, KV the Best knowing theory and immediately winning within the first 4 moves or so. Well, I guess it's not. No, because then you can still use a jump spell, and that's going to be checkmate. I believe, at least. You can move the king, but I think jump spell on this pawn. And if I'm mistaken, I believe that is basically checkmate. Yeah, and you can't use back-to-back jump spells. There is a delay. But I'm fairly certain that that would be... If I'm incorrect, please please let me know. But is that not a win? You can't use 2 spells? It's not? No, you can't. Oh, I'm being so stupid. I'm literally being so stupid. I'm like, oh, this pawn doesn't exist. No, it obviously does. Yeah, the bishop isn't going to be able to protect the freaking queen. I'm just bad at this game. I'm awful at this. You can, however, use a jump spell. Oh, actually, no, you can't, actually. If you use a jump spell and take the rook, the queen will be able to use another jump spell and take the queen back. So, yeah, my God. Just decides to push a pawn. Just a reminder, you do not get any time back. Yeah, and then we have a jump spell on using the rook and capturing the queen. And that's... Yeah, the queen falls. RIP. Now also the bishop falls. And white is just losing all of their pieces. When I thought the game was over, turns out it was not. I think KV did end up messing this up at one point. But it's just kind of how it goes. This is the wake-up call. Yeah, I thought this was going to be... I thought white was completely winning. But I think KV did forget his theory. And this is heavily leaning towards Tog taking this one down and proving why he has multiple wins. KV wanted to win there so bad, he just tried to instamate this, which is kind of funny. What the fuck? I went upstairs, and when I come back, KV is losing. Yeah, I don't know theory for this game. I just know that KV messed up. But you do have to remember that time is also a factor here. Both players do not get their time back. I think Tog has recognized this, that KV is taking their sweet time. The bishop can just continue to kind of push back and move. But you might see an attempt at a free spell, but you can always counter freeze. That's one major thing about this. All right, and the pawn does push. The queen can simply just move out of the way. I'm not necessarily sure. But KV actually, with a 10-second time lead, is actually very interesting to me. I thought it was going to be clear cut. But KV is actually putting up a very good fight right now. And Tog is running low on time, down to 35 seconds, really taking his sweet time to figure out this position. Gives a check. The rook is still, the rook is not hanging anymore, but you would go down in exchange, but you're already up a queen and a bishop, so it's kind of like you might actually straight up have a win here, but I could be wrong about this. All right. Yeah, Tog down to 30 seconds. Tog needs to play fast. The clock is dwindling right now. Running very dangerously low on the clock. And gives a check with the queen. A very fast move. A nervous move, I'll say. And then we could see, decides to break open the pawn, okay. Or it tries to just make a move. Attacks with the rook. Tog, spending a really long time, uses a freeze spell on everything but the knight. I believe that was a misclick. The knight can now capture the queen. Tog with 15 seconds. KV with lower. Brings out the knight instead. Now the king is in check. Takes with the king. Both players down to 12 seconds. The knight now comes in, sacrificing itself for a pawn. We have takes. The knight comes in, gives a check, immediately recaptures. Knight takes bishop. Both players down to under 10 seconds. The rook now takes a pawn. Bishop coming out, gives a check. Gives another check, sacrificing the rook. That freezes him. Valuable time. The knight now comes out, gives another check. King has to move. Both players down to under 5 seconds. No time is given back. We have a check. Sacrifice of another piece. Tog now pre-moving. KV running out of time. Who will win this? Takes, sacrifice. And KV the best takes the game. KV the best wins it against Tog. Coming down to both players being under a second. What a match. Tog with a generational throw up a queen and a bishop. KV manages to pull this one off. What an outstanding game. Oh my goodness. Holy cow. That means Tog, you have lost a life. And KV, what a freaking introduction into the open section of the TheCager Chess Championship. Well done, man. That was as good as you could possibly get. I am very proud of you. What a game. I imagine that had your heart just pumping like crazy. All right. That means, Tog, you have actually lost a life very early on. There are not going to be any revives into the game, by the way. No revives. Everything is just straight up. I was going to add things to the wheel, but I low-key totally forgot to do that. So that's my fault. It is just going to be straight up TheCager Chess Championship. But now we're going back into the 17 under section. Let's see who the next two people will play. Just a reminder, you cannot play in back-to-back games. Let's see who will be selected. And it is going to be Amon Cool Chess. Amon Cool Chess, you are being selected to play. Let's see who your opponent will be. I need to go here. Let's see who your opponent will be. All right, all right. Well, why did you join the tournament if you want to sleep? And it's going to be Demon HMY. Amon versus Demon HMY. All right, all right. Demon HMY, I wish you the best of luck. And same thing with Amon Cool Chess. Will Demon HMY get his first ever TheCager Chess Championship victory, or will Amon just steamroll this competition? All right. I just need clarification. Amon is here. All right. Now, let's see what game will be selected. Amon Cool Chess, you do have the power of a respin. So if you do not like the variant, you're able to respin it. You will have the black pieces in said game. And we are going to get, I believe, King of the Hill. King of the Hill, your goal is to get the king into the center 4 squares of the board and or win by checkmate. That is your goal. Amon, do you want to respin this? Or are you comfortable playing King of the Hill? I'm waiting for a response. Possibly, maybe. Waiting for a response by Amon. Amon, do you want to play King of the Hill? Mate? You were summoned anytime now. He was. He spoke like not too long ago. Amon, if you don't respond, I'm gonna have to forfeit a life. And then choose a new opponent for Demon HMY. I'll give you another 20 seconds or so. Or else I will forfeit a life. All right, and I am actually gonna go ahead and forfeit a life for Amon. Amon, you are losing a life. And let's go ahead and select a new player. But Amon has lost a life. All right, I wasn't expecting that, but okay. Now going back over here, let's see. Yeah, Amon has lost a life officially. Demon HMY, let's see who your opponent will be. It's either going to be Parth, Chess, or Derpole. Which Derpole, I believe, is here. I would need to send them a message if they do get selected, but it's going to be Derpole or Parth. And it's going to land on Parth, so it's going to be Demon HMY versus Parth Chess. All right, all right. Parth Chess. Parth Chess, you are going to have the black pieces, and you're going to get the option of a respin. Actually, do you want to play King of the Hill? Parth, I'm giving you the option. Do you want to play King of the Hill? If not, we will respin that wheel if you want to. It is up to you. Demon HMY is saying he's fine with King of the Hill. Waiting for Parth's response. King of the Hill is honestly one of my favorite game modes just because of how simple it is. You play regular chess, and then the end game is what changes. Parth is saying, okay, all right, both players, please go over to the variants page of chess.com, and I will get you invited. Go over to the variants page of chess.com, and I will invite you. Parth chess with the black pieces. Demon HMY with the white. Time control will be 3 minutes. Your goal is to get your king into the center of the board or win by checkmate. My recommendation is play regular chess up until the end game, and then you need to convert it. Hello, Derpole. All right, your name got dodged, by the way, so you're full here. Great. All right, Demon HMY with the white pieces, Parth with the black. The game is beginning. Good luck to both players. This is the first showing for both players in this tournament. Let's see if they can start out strong. All right, all right. Derpole, I am very excited to see how you will play this tournament. Just by the way, I'm very excited. Also, I'm submitting another art request. I know I'm asking you to do a lot of things, but dude, your stuff is so good. Like that, you're actually kind of designing the brand I'm going for right now. So we have this is a full theory Roy Lopez, by the way, which I can't even like. Yeah, like you're not gambiting the pawn. Well, you kind of are, but you're gonna get a lot of momentum out of it. The bishop comes out, attacked. And this is just a very standard game of chess. Honestly, for both players being around 14 to 1500 elo, this is a very theoretical game so far. Derpole is getting nervous. Hey, I wish you the best of luck. Just don't. The game is for fun. Just remind yourself that. Listen to music. Music helps me like just relax and vibe. That's what I did against. Oh my God, Ashtiana. All right, KB, I'll check it out when I can. But no, castling, even in King of the Hill, like you just want to play normal chess up until the end game. Even though your king is temporarily further away from the center, it's very hard to get your king into the center for squares, especially when there's pawns and pieces. So your king, if you bring it forward, is just going to be assaulted by a bunch of different pieces, and you're not going to be able to make any progress. And then black will get a bunch of momentum and be able to kind of convert the game from there. The recommendation, or from what I've seen from previous Cager Chess Championships, is to play regular chess up until the end game where you're trying to convert it into a win. But yeah, Derpole, what I was saying is like, you're basically making my brand. Like these little guys are my brand now. Whatever brand I have, you're the one designing it. So like you're with me for the long haul, buddy. All right. I have always liked all of your creative designs and whatnot. Like it's been great. Eventually, if this channel becomes something bigger, which maybe it will, maybe it won't, I don't know. I will hopefully have the means to pay you. I have offered to buy him subs and everything with that, but trust me, I wanted to commission him, but he said no the original time. But I am more than happy to pay him. All right, both players under 2 minutes. Demon HMY with about a 20-second deficit. The position and material are completely equal. Black with the bishop pair, but that's really the only dynamic here. Pawns are going to be with a 2-on-1 majority on the queen side for black, but overall, I think I like black's position just a little bit better. I think their bishops are a lot more active. The queen feels a little bit misplaced, not really staring into anything. This queen is very active over on the queen side. Yes, sir, I will. All right. Both rooks are in the center, but like I really like the pressure that this bishop specifically is putting on this pawn. The knight now comes out, putting attack on the queen. We have a check being given. The king will probably just slide over. I imagine we'll see a trade of some sort. Decides that's a blunder, I think. Actually, you can take with the king. That's right. But now we see the bishop coming in and taking a pawn. That's one thing. I was talking about the pressure that the bishop was putting on. And now it's seeming like the knight is probably going to fall. It's looking like a very good, goes for a queen trade. Takes. Now we have doubled pawns on the b file. The knight is going to have to move, but it's either the knight or the rook decides to trade. I like that idea. I like that play. It might have actually been better there to not instantly trade, but to like here to take the bishop. But then I guess the rook would just drop back. So never mind. I'll be quiet. Now we have an offer of a bishop trade. These pawns are going to be a weakness in every endgame. Demon HMY with being down nearly a full 30 seconds. We do have a trade. Now, no checks can be given. The king is now making a run for it. The bishop, by the way, is just completely hanging. I missed this. The bishop was fully just hanging for several moves, and now a trade is being offered. The king can actually can't run forward when you look at it, but this pawn is hanging. But the bishop was fully just hanging for both players, missing that for several moves. Once again, that bishop, but you can't let the king forward, but you kind of can. This is going to be a win if white is able to get to the square, which I don't even see how you stop it. All right. You're not in for the money. If I get paid, I have responsibility. Now I can't pause now I can pause if you don't feel like drawing. That's totally fine. HMY is going for the win. Instead of taking the bishop and allowing the rook to kind of get in and cut off the king, Demon HMY is fully trying to go for the win. Now, there was a win here. Oh my god, that was actually just a winning move. And now the king's going to have to drop back. The knight could have taken the rook, and then the king would have promoted. Or not promoted, but won the game. We now have rook taking the bishop finally. Now the king is running. Slides back. But that's going to be a win. And that is, oh my god, several wins for Demon HMY there. But Parth Chess takes the win by getting their king into the center 4 squares. Oh my goodness, Demon HMY. That was a huge throw. Right here, at this point, you had knight takes, and then you win the game. There was no way to actually stop this. If you took the rook with the knight, this was a game. There is no way to stop the king from coming here. But you missed it, and you pushed the pawn, and then Parth Chess is able to take the win from underneath you. All right. That means Demon HMY, my favorite. Like, I want Demon HMY to win this thing eventually, just from like a pride sake. But they're going to lose a life. Parth Chess, great comeback, great victory. You pulled that from the depths of hell. I don't know how you won that one. All right, let me go ahead and update this. Demon HMY, you've lost a life. Jewel General, you're being added back to the board. Same thing with Amon Cool Chess and Mr. 19 for real. All right. And now we're going into the open section where KV actually took down Tog, which was shocking. Now, I'm pretty certain that there's a good chunk of people in the open section who just straight up aren't here. So if their name comes up, I'm going to also kind of ban them and bar them from future tournaments if they do sign up again, because they're literally not showing up. So let's go ahead and see. Tog and KV, you are not on the wheel. So let's see who your opponents will be. But oh my god, yeah, this tournament is actually going crazy. TheCager is maybe one of the best online names of all time. I made it. It's my like old gamer tag, and now it's TheCager, right? All right, General, aka Magnus, you're being selected. Let's go ahead and see who your opponent will be. Removing you from the wheel. Who will your opponent be? All right, and King xe4. So both players are here. It's going to be General versus King xe4. Okay, General, you're going to have the black pieces, and you'll get a respin. And King xe4, you will play with the white pieces. Good luck. Now, let's go ahead and see what the game will be. Just a reminder, Magnus, aka General, you are going to have a respin. So what will be selected? And we have Cross Derby, by far my favorite game mode of all time. Horsey, that is the game. Magnus immediately wants to respin. Understood. Makes sense. And we are respinning the wheel now. And we're going to get Mini House. Essentially Crazy House, but on a 6x6 board. Now, the players do not have a respin, so we will explain Mini House as we're getting this set up. Both players, please go over to the variance page of chess.com. Mini House is essentially Crazy House, where if you capture an opponent's piece, you are able to place it right back onto the board for one of your turns. Both players get a bishop, a knight, a rook, king, and a pawn, and your goal is to win by checkmate. I'm inviting both players now. General CR7, you have been invited. And then I also need King xe4 to go over to the variance page of chess.com, and I'll invite you there. So King xe4, please go over to the variance page, and I will invite you. General, you're going to have the black pieces. King xe4, you will have the white pieces. So let's go ahead and begin. This is the board. Both players, if you capture an opponent's piece, you're able to place it right back onto the board. We have seen some absolutely insane games take place here, even some just finale-defining moments. All right. You can't even hear Cager properly because of less sleep. Dang, that is unfortunate. The knight now jumping out early. Interesting strategy. It's weird. I feel like there was probably a moment to where you could have taken and then given a check and then possibly even like slid the rook over, but the TheCager, now I analyze the game and see even later I had a win. Yeah. This is Mini House. If you capture an opponent's piece, you're able to place it back onto the board. It is a 6x6 grid. Your goal is to win by checkmate. It's a pretty fun game mode, and it can get wild. But already the knight is now pinned to the bishop, which is, now the knight really can't move. But rook hits the knight, and we're going to see stuff. All right. We do have takes, our first exchange, which is interesting. I'm not sure in this game mode what would really be better, the knight or the bishop. I believe the knight, because you are able to place the knight down with any forks if you happen to see something. All right. You played basketball for 4 hours before sleeping? Did you shower? Maybe. Oh my god! And then we see takes immediately with the pin on the, or not takes, but places the bishop down on hitting the rook. The knight cannot capture, but I believe the rook could probably just move, if I'm not mistaken. There, you might actually see takes, and then taking with the knight. Does that not work? We do see it. We do see that exchange happen, and now the knight will be able to take the bishop basically completely for free. There might be a pin on the knight immediately. It gives a check with the bishop first. The king can come down, or the rook can block. The king does decide to come down, and then we see takes. Now there is actually no pin, so if black were to have placed a rook or moved the rook over, there is no pin on the knight. We can now see another check being given. White is taking control completely of this game, and that's just going to be it. That is the killing blow. A fork on the board. White is going to pick up all of the rooks, all of the pieces, essentially. And the game will be decided. Giving a check. King has to come down. And then giving another check with the final bishop. Sacrifices the bishop. I think they probably pre-moved. Is this a throw? Gives a check with the knight. King slides over. Gives another check with the knight. King has to go down. And then you can give a check, but then you can block with the rook. Or you could take the pawn first, I guess. And then you can even place a pawn here and win by checkmate. The king is completely boxed into the corner of the board. No matter what you do, the game is over. There really is nothing. You could simply recapture with the king. And then, yeah, you could just take but that's going to be stalemate. Slides over. It does not give stalemate. Great. All right. Yeah, there was almost a stalemate, but if you place a pawn, you could place another rook, I guess. You're now able to block with the bishop. And now you can place or just simply take, and that will be checkmate. And that will be a win for King xe4. A very strong showing against General CR7. Just a complete domination. I thought there was some moments for General, but nothing really came to be. So General, you are going to lose a life. And King xe4, you are going to move on with both of yours. Very well done. All right, let me go ahead and update the board real quick. General, you lose a life. KV and Tog, you're being added back onto the wheel. And now we are going over to the under 1700 section, where it was Demon HMY. Who did you play? You played. Oh my god! Wait, who did you play? What am I forgetting? You played Parth. That's right. You did play Parth. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and see who will be playing in this next one. Demon HMY and Parth cannot play. They cannot play in back-to-back games. So that's who will be selected. And is it going to be Terpole or is it going to be Mr. 19 for real? It's right there. And it's going to flip over. It's going to be Mr. 19 for real. That is as close as you could possibly get on a wheel spin. Let's go ahead and see who your opponent will be. Now, this is our first elimination game of the tournament as Mr. Vegeta only has one life remaining. Terpole getting absolutely bailed out. But is he going to get bailed out a second time? He is. So it's going to be Amon Cool Chess versus... Is Amon here? Amon is not here, so that means Amon is actually just going to lose. Amon is just going to straight up get eliminated from the tournament because Amon did actually just leave. That is... I'm going to bar them from future tournaments, and they won't be playing. They won't be playing in future tournaments. So that is actually our first elimination of the tournament. Oh, Amon is here. Okay, sick. All right, then it will be Amon versus... Sorry, who was... Oh my god, who was selected first? Why am I losing my mind? I am losing my mind. Oh my god. Amon versus Mr. For Real. So this will be the first elimination match. All right. Both players with 1 life. Mr. For Real, you will have the black pieces and a respin. Let's go ahead and see what game will be played. All right. Let's see what will happen. What will the game be? It will just be regular 3+2 blitz chess. Mr. Vegeta, you are the one with a respin. Do you want to revisit your nightmare? Do you think you're gonna misclick again? It is up to you. You have the choice of a respin. Respin. All right, we are going to respin the wheel. Just a reminder that if it lands on 3+2 blitz again, you are going to have to play it, but it's not going to be that. Instead, we're going to have cross derby. This is the horsey game. All right, there are just knights and pawns on the board. Both players, please go over to the variance page of chess.com. I will get you invited. We have a cross derby. All right. Your goal is to checkmate the enemy king with your horse. Mr. 19 for real will have the black pieces, while Amon Cool Chess will have the white. All right. Please go over to the variance page of chess.com. All right, I'm on Cool Chess. You have been invited. And now, Mr. 19 for real, you have also been invited. All right, good luck to both players who will get eliminated first from the tournament. This is the board. Checkmate the enemy king. That is your only goal. That is your only goal. The checkmating squares are here, here, and here. That's already a mistake. You do not want to move these pawns because now this pawn is weakened. All right, you need to have as many defenders as you possibly can. But then again, if you haven't played derby chess before, you don't know that. So it's not clear. I've seen this game mode happen or played out so many times. We can now even see just take, and then try to move a knight into position. We do have captures. You do have to be cautious, though. I mean, I would personally bring my knight out. You can even, or it brings the knight out this way. Now trying to go here and try to deliver a checkmate and also maybe win another pawn. The knight actually getting active from the corner. I very rarely ever see those knights get active. This knight now coming forward, kind of trying to defend this. I would probably bring another knight into the battle and try to take control of this square. Because if you're able to, you're going to have winning chances. Just a reminder, the time control is only 3-0. So you do not get any time back when you make a move. There is a lot of ways to mess this up, and I think both players don't really know the very clear path. And that makes it exciting, all right? That balances out the ratings quite a bit. Yeah, like deciding to push this pawn, I'm not sure exactly what the idea is. Now taking, and then taking this pawn out here. Now this is checkmate. You have to drop one of these knights back to defend from checkmate. There is no other option, or else the game will be over. One of these knights is going to have to move backwards. Is Mr. Vegeta going to be able to spot that? Decides to. Okay. Does find the move to defend. But now white will just continue to bring their pawns forward. Or sorry, not their pawns, but decides to take another pawn. You don't need to take material. Your goal is to checkmate. Like, these pawns aren't going to be able to promote. You just need to bring your other knights into the game and try to deliver a checkmate. But I guess that is not super clear. I think white is going to take another pawn. But then again, if you take here, you actually kind of borderline almost win. Decides to come out this way. I think that's just that's not better, because now this square is defended by 2 pieces. And now it's just on the outside of the board. Oh my goodness. He can't promote into an I guess you can promote. But you have to get the pawn all the way down the board, I believe. Now, all of black's knights pretty much getting very active. White needs to be more active with their pieces. This is the longest game of cross derby that I have seen. What will happen? That's always a mistake. You never want to move these pawns because now this pawn is weakened. Now, if a knight is able to get here or here, this pawn can be attacked. This knight will now permanently be defending this pawn. Both players down to under 2 minutes. Mr. 304 with slightly less time, deciding to push his pawn. The knight now comes over. Very interesting strategies by both players. I'm going to be so real with you. This is very interesting. Now, you could probably even just straight up push the pawn and defend. Also, this is a very long game of Cross Derby. I've never seen this game played out this far. Decides to take. Is that fine? I think it is, right now at least. You need to give a checkmate. This knight is completely tied. If this knight moves, the game will be over. Brings a knight forward to try to trade off a piece and maybe bring this knight out. This knight can kind of come over and try to put on some pressure. We do see the pawn being taken. All right. And now this checkmate is being threatened. If you're able to bring another knight to that defense, that might be game. Bringing this knight, how do you stop this checkmate? You're going to have to bring this knight forward. And you can stop it for a move or two. Oh my god, okay. Both players down to about a minute. I don't think black just wins just yet, at least. The knight does come forward. This is a checkmate threat. This knight will have to move. There is no choice. You do not have an option. This is the only move to keep the game going. And the knight drops back, and that's going to be game. You're now able to sacrifice a knight and deliver a checkmate. And Amon, and Mr. 19 for real, is going to take this one down. You now have to take, and it's going to be a simple recapture back, and that will be game. And that means, Amon, you have been eliminated from the Cager Chess Championship. You are eliminated. Great play, Mr. Vegeta. Great win on taking that one down, but you have lost both of your lives, and you are gone. GG's, GG's. Mr. 19 for real, very well played, and congratulations on staying alive. All right. Now, I need to remove one of the lives. Yeah, okay. So, Amon Cool Chess, you have been eliminated. Parth and Demon HMY, you are being added back onto the wheel. We are now going back over to the open section where General and King XE4 are not on the wheel currently, but we will spin. I believe there are several people not here, so we might have to actually lose a lot of lives here. But let's go ahead and spin, and let's see what we're going to get. All right, so, bruh, I don't know what to put here. You're not here. I'm, like, very certain they are just straight up not here. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove a life from you. You signed up twice. You were literally here for both. You signed up for back-to-back weeks, and you just don't show up. So, like, piss off. Yeah, so let me just go ahead and remove one of their lives. They can still show up. You know, they still do have a life to their name, but they are just going to straight up lose one right now. All right. But I will probably ban him permanently from signing up. But all right, let's go ahead and respin the wheel once again. Yeah, but if you could celebrate that moment for Mr. Vegeta taking his first win. And we're going to have KV the best getting selected. Let's go ahead and see who your opponent will be, KV. Who will you be playing against? All right, all right. Are there revives? There are no revives. And yeah, bro, I don't know, is going to be the first player eliminated from the open section of the Cager Chess Championship. I'm not even going to say thank you for participating. That's like my usual spiel. You're just not ever playing again. So bye. Yeah. All right. So I'm pretty sure Ame Kacheku also just straight up isn't here. So this is probably just going to be Amon versus Tog, just because that's kind of what it is. You know what? I don't know. Let's just see if there could be, if they could get eliminated. I'm not gonna have any revives. I'm not doing any revives, mate. But May Chuckwu is also just not here as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove all instances and just eliminate them from the tournament because they're not here. So bye-bye. And it's just Tog. Now, technically, we are in the final four, so all the names should be added back to the wheel. Are you okay with this, or do you just want a rematch with KV? I'll give Tog the option since that's not technically fair. But Tog, I'll give you the option. Do you just want to play KV, or do you want to add everyone back onto the wheel? Rematch. All right. Perfect. So that means it is going to be KV the best versus Tog. This is an elimination game, as Tog only has one life left. It was up to Tog, not for you, KV. At least at that moment. So Yeah, this person loses both of their lives and they are eliminated. That choice was made for Tog. But it will be KV versus Tog. Let's go ahead and see this. All right, what will the game be? KV, you do have the option for a respin. Good luck, good luck, good luck. And it's going to be setup chess. Do you want to respin? I would recommend that you do, unless you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, I think Tog is going to wipe the floor with you for setup chess. Once again, all right, we are respinning. Okay. Yeah, it can't be a CCC tournament without a few inactive people. That is very true. And we're going to get Crazy House. All right, we have Crazy House. If you capture a piece, you're able to place it right back on the board. Basically, mini house, but the original version. All right, both players, please go over to the variants page of chess.com. I will get you invited. We have Crazy House. A normal board, but you're able to place pieces right back. All right, probably one of the most popular variants on the chess.com website. All right, KV, you have been in. KV, please go over to the variants page of chess.com. You are not currently there. Please go over there. KV, please go over to the variants page of chess.com. Pretty please. All right. I have invited you. Tog, I have also invited you. KV, you will play with the black pieces. Tog, you will play with the white. KV, next time, can you let the two player pools have separate wheel for variants? I can do that. That's a decent idea. That's a lot of wheels to maintain. I'm going to be honest. But it shouldn't be that difficult. But yeah, Mr. Vegeta, I think the person that you played was probably around, wow, he was around 1700. That's actually kind of crazy. All right. And the game will begin. Tog with the white pieces. If you capture a piece, you're able to place it right back onto the board. Will Tog get eliminated, or will KV go 2-0 against Tog? That would be an absolutely unprecedented victory for KV. I would genuinely would be shocked if that were to happen. All right. Going for a weird opening, personally, by black. I don't typically see this because the pawn can just be pushed and then the knight's going to have to move again. I don't normally see moves like this, but we have a capture in the center. White now moves their knight out, defending. We do see a pawn push. The bishop will have to move once again. Bishop drops back. We see this bishop getting developed. Now castling is an option for both white and black. We'll probably see castles, I would imagine. There's actually, in the event of castles, I believe there is a Greek gift. I think there is a Greek gift here, but I'm not sure because black is able to place a piece down. But a Greek gift opportunity, and we do see it. We do see bishop takes h7, checking the king. If the king takes, the knight will then come in with another check, and then the queen will come out and try to deliver a checkmate. This very well could just straight up be the game. Greek gift sacrifice. The king does in fact capture. Now the knight will come in with check, defended by the dark square bishop. Black's pieces are completely boxed in over here, not able to come in and join the defense. And now pieces are going to come alive. But black can still place down two pieces, so there might be a defense here. You know, the game is not fully over. I'm very curious to see what white decides to do here. Does the Greek gift work in Crazy House? That's the question. Gives a check with the queen, blocks with the bishop. Now you can give a check here and basically have to give up the rook, and then also maybe even take here with the bishop. A lot of lines for white to calculate it. Both players about just now under 2 minutes decides to take with the knight. Going to have to recapture with the rook, or else you do just straight up lose a queen. All right. Now, is white going to take the rook, or is it white going to take the bishop? Very curious to see. Decides to take the rook instead. All right. Makes total sense. Both players under 2 minutes now. And places the knight down with a fork on the king, or a king and the rook. Now, the knight could simply retake this rook here, but I imagine we might see white has a lot of material to their disposal to try and checkmate the black king, who's stuck in the corner right now. Decides to take. That's a very risky business, and immediately loses the queen. We now have takes. The king now is in check. Blocks with the rook. We can now see a knight getting placed. A knight getting placed with check, dropping the king down. And then we might even have like takes, sacrificing the queen, and then possibly placing down. I don't know what could happen here. But white does need to calculate it. Both players down to under half their time. Tog is fighting for his life with a lot of winning chances. Does give a check with the knight. Gives a check with the pawn, driving the king even further out. This could be the winning moves. And now you can even take the rook back and just be up everything. But is there a checkmate somewhere on the board? Is there some place for a checkmate to be found? Like, is this? No, you can't really give any discovered attacks. You might just be able to take. Gives a check with the pawn, driving the king even further out. But the king can kind of just go back. But then you can place a queen. So it's really... Oh, man. If king takes, I believe there should be a checkmate somewhere on the board, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe with placing the queen here, but... All right. How's it going, Severy? What's up? You have a new badge, by the way. And takes with check. Takes back. And now you can simply take the rook, or you can try to deliver a checkmate. I believe placing a queen here might actually just straight up be game very soon. I believe there might be a game there. Gives a check with the queen. If the king runs here, that will be checkmate. If the king runs here, I believe this also will be checkmate. I think the game is over. You can block with the rook, but then this is still almost checkmate. I don't believe KV has really any wins here. Maybe able to block with the rook, but again, you could place it here. Decides to run the king away, and that's going to be checkmate. I believe you're able to place a queen here and deliver a mate on the board. Or there. That also works. And that is going to be a win for Tog. Getting one back on KV. And now both of these players are at 1 life. 1 life apiece. Very dominant performance by Tog. Really kind of putting his mark on the open section. But now, in the open, by the way, since there are only 4 people left, everyone's going to be added on the wheel permanently. You are able to play in back-to-back matches. There is no delays between that. And now going into the under 1700 section, Mr. 19 for real just did eliminate Amon, and we have several people all with 2 lives. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see who's going to be playing next. All right. And it is going to be, is Derpole going to make his first appearance, or is he going to look out on the wheel once again? And it's going to be Jewel General. Let's see who their opponent will be. Derpole having yet to play. Let's see who their opponent will be. And Derpole, you are out of luck. You are finally getting played. All right. Let's go ahead and see what your game will be. It's going to be Jewel General versus Derpole. Jewel General, you do have the option for a respin if you do not like the game that is selected. I need to remove Crazy House from the board. All right. Let's see what the game will be. Good luck to both players. And this is actually chaos. It's going to be 1-0 bullet chest 960. Do you want to play or do you want to respin? This is probably one of the most 50-50 games that you could possibly get. It is really just down to whoever. Okay, and we are getting a respin. That's a very fun game mode. Last time we had that, the board was the same. It was chess 960, but we literally got the same board. Instead, we're going to also get chess 960, but you have more time on the clock. It is going to be 3+2 blitz 960. Both players, please go over to the variance page of chess.com. Yeah, no, it was actually insane that even happened, where we just got the board completely normal. I've never seen that for chess 960. All right. Both players, please go over to the variance page of chess.com. Chess 960, otherwise known as Freestyle Chess, or the other one that it was called that I forget the name of. All right. Jewel General, please go over to the variance page. I'm inviting you now. I spelled your name wrong because I'm... Oh, my God. Okay. I spelled it wrong again. Damn. Jewel General, you have been invited. And then I will invite Derpole. Derpole, you will have the white pieces. Jewel General will have the black. Fisher Random, that is what it's called. You are correct. The time control is 3+2. Both players get, you get 2 seconds bonus time every time you make a move. If you don't know chess 960, the back row of pieces are shuffled. The king has to be in between both rooks, and there has to be a light and dark squared bishop. All right. The game has commenced, and this is no normal board. All right. The king is sandwiched in between both rooks. The bishops are in the center of the board, queen off to the side, and this knight will never see the light of day. Good luck to both players. Now, from what I know for chess 960, is your goal is to kind of get all of the to get as much space as you possibly can. All right, you need to get pieces down the board, take as much space, and then maneuver your pieces throughout. But we already see the bishop kind of putting pressure onto this weak pawn, which is defended by the knight, which I did just notice, which is kind of nice. All right. 2 out of 8 pieces are in their normal spots. Thank you, Tog, for giving me that. All right, we do see trying to go for a pawn break. It's interesting. I mean, both players playing very similar. Kind of a queen's gambit, but on the side of the board. Now the position is completely symmetrical, but white to move. Derpole already down a full minute, but you do get 2 seconds back every time you make a move. But yeah, this is chaos. In terms of Fischer random or freestyle chess, this is a very interesting board dynamic. I feel like this is probably one of the better setups for chess 960, in my opinion. All right. I realize now that there's actually a Grandmaster finale going on for a chess tournament. So that's probably why people aren't coming. But it's okay. It's okay. We're good. Now the knights are fully seeing this. Fully seeing the pawn, but you can't really add another attacker to it. I would have I mean, maybe there's an opportunity to play like this, but you might see the queen coming in and trying to give an early checkmate. Also, white, Derpole down to under 2 minutes, needing to play a lot faster than what they're currently doing right now. We do see the pawn pushing. And if you take, that's going to be a fork. And now there's a fork on the knights. But you can get out of it just a little bit. I'd like the move, or the knight slides out of the way and just kind of loses. Okay, well, Derpole is now down a knight, down 2 points of material. But the bishops are very active. But both bishops on both sides are very active. We now see a borderline, almost a checkmate being threatened. If the rook were to slide over, then it would be checkmate. So you have to be very cautious about that. I would probably like to see the knight dropping back, putting pressure onto the queen. You do have to be careful because now there's 2 pieces attacking. I would love to see the bishop coming alive, attacking the queen once again, and we do see it. Very well spotted by Derpole. I'm not sure if it's the best move, but it seems pretty damn good in my opinion. The queen will have to slide over. Now we do see some pressure being put over here. But we can, well, you can't play like this. And now setting up a discovered attack onto the queen. But this pawn hangs, and now we see a fork with defense. An incredible move by Derpole, defending from checkmate, attacking the queen, attacking the bishop. But the queen simply slides out of the way, still defending. I'm curious what will happen next. Yeah, it was a very interesting tactical idea by Derpole, but it didn't really seem to work. I'm curious what will happen next. I personally want Derpole to win, but Derpole is also very low on time at the moment. Decides to take the bishop. We do see takes. Now the bishop is hit. Bishop will have to move. I don't see any way. Yeah, drops the bishop all the way back over here, which is totally fine. Now I would love to see takes and then bishop here, and I think you do. Well, it's defended now, so there's nothing. Decides to play a3, a fine move, or h3. No, that's a3, a fine move. Yeah, being on 1 life is very nerve-wracking, I would imagine, because you never know when your curtain's gonna get called, you know. Derpole needs to sack bishop on b7 and get a draw of some sort, to be honest. So sack the bishop on b7, but you can't really do that at the moment. We do see another pawn falls. Derpole is fully on the back foot, slides the rook over, putting pressure, but that loses this, and that pawn hangs now. There's no immediate checkmates, and the rook can possibly come alive, but you have to be very cautious about what you do next. I'm curious to. Oh my God, is there knight sacrifice? Knight sacrifice, pawn takes, and this would be checkmate. I believe that was fully on the board. There was a knight sacrifice checkmate with the bishop blocking the exit square for the king. That was, but now there is no checkmate opportunity. That would have been crazy. There was this, I suppose, actually. Now we see check with the bishop. King will have to drop back. King can come up. Is there any way to defend this? King will have to slide over, give this check, have to run away, and then we'll probably see bishop check, slide over, and then capture, something along those lines. The king does run away, keeping itself alive. Jewel General, with an absolutely dominant performance right now, just runs back again. Up nearly a full minute 30 on the clock. The knight is now coming into the party. We see the rook come up, putting pressure onto the queen. Queen will have to move. The rook is not. The rook is protected. The queen wanting to stick around, get a little bit sticky, and play some defense. The rook now comes up, putting more pressure onto the queen, defended by the bishop and the queen. Terpole is getting a lot more counterplay than I think Jewel General would be comfortable with, but at the same time, Terpole also only has 15 seconds on the clock, and we do see a fork of the rooks, and that is not looking great. Yeah, the rooks are now forked. Terpole is down to 5 seconds, and I think the game will come to a conclusion. Terpole will run out of time, and that will be game, and Jewel General will take the win. Terpole, you have lost one of your lives, but you put up a very good effort. All right. Great performance by both players. Terpole, you have lost a life. I messed that up. Oopsies. All right. I made you big, Terpole. And Jewel General, you're moving on with both of your lives still. And now we are back into the open section. All right. You did get a lot of counterplay, Terpole, and you played very well there. But now we're in the open section where all of the players' names are permanently on the board. There is no delay or break either player gets. They can play in back-to-back games now. Let's see who will get selected first. Only King xe4 has both of their lives left. Let's see if they're going to play and get chosen. And that is not going to be the case. Instead, it's going to be General CR7. Is King xe4 just going to get a free ride to the end of the tournament once again? General CR7, let's see who your opponent will be. Will it be King xe4 or the other two? And it is, in fact, going to be King xe4. So we are going to see a rematch. All right. What is the rating of these players in normal chess? In the under 1700, everyone's about like below 1700. And the open, there's KV the best is about 1700. Every other player is around 22 to 2400. But all right, King xe4, you have been selected. I'm adding these players back onto the board. So General CR7, Magnus, you will be playing against King xe4. This is an elimination game, so you have to stay on for your dear life. Let's see what game y'all will be playing. All right. Magnus, you do have a respin if you do not like the variant. And it's going to be, is it going to be 3 check or giveaway? It is going to be 3 check. Your goal is to give 3 checks to the opponent to win, or win by checkmate. Both are an option. Magnus, do you want to play 3 check? You want to see Cager himself play a CCC? That would be interesting. That would be interesting for sure. Magnus is deciding to respin. I personally really like 3 check. I think 3 check would be a lot of fun, but we are going to go ahead and respin the wheel. Now, no matter what it lands on, that game will be played. And instead, we're going to get Racing Kings, the Mario Kart of chess. Your goal is to get the king to the other side of the board. You cannot give a check to the enemy kings. That no checks are allowed. All right, all right. We have Racing Kings. Both players, please go over to the variants page of chess.com. This is an elimination game, so if Magnus or if General CR7 loses this, the game will be over. All right, the time control will be 3-0. General CR7, you have been invited. King xe4, you have also been invited. Both players are in. How do you win this? Your goal is to get the king to the other side of the board, to try to get it into these top 8 squares. You cannot give checks to the enemy king. That is very important. So, like, if you were to bring your rook up, you cut off the king from coming forward. If your queen is here, enemy's queen here, you will not be able to recapture the queens if the kings are here. So you cannot capture with check. Even if the king will be able to recapture out of check, checks cannot be given. General King xe4 will have the white pieces. General CR7 will have the black pieces. And we are underway, and the game is going. All right, good luck. We have Jewel General rooting for the other general, which I find fun. King XE4 won the last one with both of his lives left, I believe. Just completely clean sweeped it. Decides not to recapture and loses the queen immediately. I don't think that's a good strategy. Personally, I don't think that's a good strategy, guys. I don't think losing a queen and a bishop for nothing within the first few moves is really the best strategy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please do. But I don't think that is the meta here. So, I guess we'll see how the rest of the game will play out. So King XE4 is playing with the white pieces, and General is playing with the black pieces. All right. If I didn't know the ratings, I would give them 1,500 max, not going to lie. Yeah, no, General is way higher. Or General, both of these players are around 2,200 rapid. I think General might be slightly... General actually might be 2,300, now that I think about it. But, dude, hey, nerves are high, all right? 1-0. Like, there's so much tension and fear and worry in the TheCager Chess Championship. Which, by the way, I am going to customize a better overlay for the actual chess games to make them look nice. Because I have one designed for regular chess, but I don't really have one made for the tournament games, for the variants, which I do kind of want to design that. I was making a new one for Guess the Elo, but I didn't finish it. Yeah, the knight now drops back, which, by the way, after the tournament, we are going to be doing Guess the Elo, just by the way. So that will be fun if y'all are wanting to come to that. If not, we'll probably play GeoGuessr and then do Guess the Elo tomorrow on Saturday or something. Because I do have quite a few games in the queue. We weren't able to do it yesterday because chess.com was down for basically a whole 2 hours. I don't know what that was about. Yeah. Jewel General, what's your rating, by the way? 1,100 rapid, sub 1,000 in blitz and bullet. Yeah, no, Jewel General, you have been playing very well. Like, you were cooking. Okay, so General, KV did some research. General CR7 is actually 2,400. But yeah, you just bring the queen up like this, cut off the king from ever coming forward, and there's just nothing. But hangs the queen. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait a minute. Hangs the queen. What a crazy turn of events. Now the king is just going to go. Oh my goodness. And King XE4 has thrown the game away. Out of nowhere. Hanging the queen. And just goes ahead and resigns. Because General CR7 hanging on. What the hell? King XE4 snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Oh my goodness. Completely hangs the queen in the critical moments of the game. And that means General... That means King XE4, you lost a life. And General, you're staying alive, dude. I did not expect that to happen at all. Oh my goodness. All right. I totally thought that General was out of this. But all right. Now every player in the open only has 1 life left. That is crazy. Every player only has 1 life left in that bracket. Everyone can play again. There's 4 people remaining. We're going back over to the 1,700 and below. I believe Derpole lost a life. We still have 5 people left, 2 people with 2 lives left. It's going to be, yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and spin this wheel, and let's see who will be playing in the under 1,700 section. Good luck to both players. I believe Parth has only played a single time, and they will be showing again. Yeah, Magnus, I don't know how you won that. Genuinely, I have no idea how you won that. And Parth Chess is getting selected. Will they play Demon HMY or Mr. For Real? Who will their opponent be? And it is going to be a rematch between Parth and Demon HMY. Let's go ahead and see what the game will be. Let me just do something real quick. I'm adding Jewel General back onto the wheel. And Derpole as well. All right, let's see what the game will be. I need to remove Racing Kings from the wheel. Sorry. Let me find this. Where is Racing Kings? I apologize. All right. What will the game be? Just a reminder, Parth, you do have a respin. Also, hello, Average Dasher. What is up? And we once again have 1 old bullet chess 960. Do you want to respin, Parth, or do you want to play? Respin, respin, respin in all caps. All right. I am going to go ahead and shuffle the wheel just once, and then we will go ahead and respin it. You have a touchpad, can't do this. Instead, Horde should be removed. I apologize. Horde is not actually on the wheel. That is my bad. I am removing it, and we're going to respin it again. Horde should not be there. And instead, we are going to get, is it going to be 3+2 blitz, or is it going to be, it is going to be giveaway chess. Your goal is to get rid of all of your pieces. Captures are forced. If your bishop sees an enemy bishop, you have to take that bishop regardless of if it benefits you or not. You need to get rid of all of your pieces. That is the goal. All right, it is going to be Parth Chess versus Demon HMY. This is, once again, an elimination game. Will Demon HMY be able to hold on? Both players, please go over to the variants page of chess.com and we will get it going. We have a giveaway chess. All right. Also, one of the more popular variants on this website. All right, Parth Chess, I have you invited. Demon HMY, I have also you invited. Okay. Off topic, but I feel like these variants are the only way to actually get the benefits chess provides. Normal chess, test memory, not understanding. That's what chess, that's the whole argument for chess 960. Like freestyle chess, that's the entire argument for it, by the way, from what I know. Demon HMY with the white pieces, Parth Chess with the black. The time control is 3 minutes. You do not get any time back for a move. Let us begin. Demon HMY, will you hold on for your dear life, or will Parth Chess take you out and keep his 2 lives? Dark Knight 08, hello, hello. This is the TheCager Chess Championship. If you want to play in the one next Friday, go ahead and follow me and go join my Discord where I post the announcements for how to participate and to play. Everyone gets 2 lives. We spin a wheel. We have some fun. We've already had some absolutely just rambunctious games today. And right now we have giveaway chess. Your goal is to get rid of all your pieces. Captures are forced. So now this bishop is literally just going to be like possibly capturing everything in the position, depending. Just a reminder, you can still lose on time. Like, you only have 3 full minutes, so I would not be calculating this much at this point of the game. I also want to play. I host these every Friday. Every Friday I have a tournament at 5:30 Central Standard Time, AM. So join the Discord and follow. And I post the form and the announcement there. So, sick. All right. Both players already using about 30 seconds of their clock. We do see a queen sacrifice immediately, which is the correct move in my understanding of this. Right now, there's no limit of players, just because it's kind of like, with how I have it set up right now, when it's a bracket, that takes longer. But with like these player limits, it doesn't really affect me much. Yeah, it's like last one standing. Oh, in this one, yes, last one standing loses. And captures are, in fact, forced. So you have to take the rook no matter what. But with the tournament, I don't think there is a hard limit right now. 12 seems to be like a very reasonable amount for about like a 2-hour tournament or so. Especially now that I've gotten like at least pretty efficient with it. I would like to think I've gotten decently efficient with it. I think there was actually a moment probably to sacrifice. Oh, man. And now the bishop being forced to take everything in the position and sacrificing itself again. White is taking full control of this game right now. We're going to see a forced capture, and then the rook will probably slide over as well. I think this is just winning for white. I think Demon HMY will just win here. And now a great move would be, rook sliding over. The bishop now has to capture. And this will very well be game. So the one with no pieces wins, yes. And you're just forced to capture everything. And Demon HMY is going to take this. I don't believe there is any way for the game to get reversed. What an outstanding performance by Demon HMY, playing almost perfect. Very well done. You also win by stalemating yourself, by the way. If there is a stalemate, white wins. The person who gets themselves stalemate wins. So the next move will be a stalemate, unless you give up the knight, give up the knight take, and then have to get rid of yourself. So the only move is this. You have to capture, and then this pawn will push. You have to capture back, but now it's going to be stalemate. More than likely, at least. I could be mistaken. It's getting a little bit dicey, actually. You don't have to... Oh my god, you have to capture. Both of these pawns could promote. This is actually very good counterplay by Parth. If Parth is able to get a queen on the board, this could be a game. Correction. If you yourself get stalemated, if you have no more moves left, you win the game. Just by the way. These pawns are going, and there is no stopping them, actually. It's actually incredible. This is very good counterplay. Just promotes to a bishop. I like the under promotion. That is what you need to do. And now you can kind of throw this bishop in front of a piece, and hopefully... I don't think you can promote to a king, even though that would be very funny. Pushing the pawn. Now having to take the king. Makes a bishop. Now this bishop will probably fling itself into oncoming traffic to try to remove itself from the board. But we might also see this pawn push. This great, fantastic counterplay by Parth, but I still do not think that there is a win here. I thought the game was over a while ago, but those pawns just kept on going. You can promote to king and giveaway. I did not know that. Yeah, and both pieces are sacrificed, and the game will be over. And Demon HMY is going to take this one down. Parth losing his first life. Demon HMY, fantastic performance, by the way. You played amazing. That was as good as you could possibly get it. Very well done. All right, now Jewel General is the only one with 2 lives left in the open, in the under 1700 section. We are now going into the open, where there are 4 people remaining with 4 lives left. This will be kind of bracket style, so 2 people will play, 1 person will get eliminated, and then the other 2 remaining people will play. One of them will get eliminated, and we'll go into the finale. So this is the final 4 finale. Let's see who will be playing against each other. Are we going to get another rematch, or will it change up? Are we going to get King XE4 versus General once again, or will it be Tog versus King XE4 or King XE4 versus KB? What will happen? And we have Tog being selected first. Let's see who their opponent will be. Will it be King XE4, General, or KB the best? All of these players will have to win their next 2 games to win it all. And it's going to be Tog versus General CR7. We are getting a mix-up. Exodius, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it a lot. First follow of the day, by the way. I put hard work into this, and I don't know. You're my first follower, but thank you. But much love, by the way. Thank you for clicking that goddamn button. If you haven't followed already and you're enjoying this stuff, I would appreciate it. But all right. So it's going to be Tog versus General. All right. Tog, let's go ahead and see what the game will be. You do have the option to respin. There are quite a few bullet games on here. There's still 2 bullets and the free sub. So good luck. What will it be? And we're going to get Atomic Chess. Well, you will be playing with the black pieces. Do you want to respin? Do you want to respin? Yeah, to pull following for 10 months is a hot fire. Tog is deciding to respin. Let's see what the game will be. Now, if it lands on Atomic again, you are forced to play it. And instead, it's going to be 3 check. I really like 3 check. Okay, 3 check is fire, in my opinion. So, okay. All right, the game will be 3 check. Tog will have the white pieces, or black pieces. General CR7 will have the white. Please go over to the variants page, fchess.com, and I will get you invited. Your goal is to give 3 checks to the enemy king. Consider them lives. The first person to either do that or win by checkmate will take it home and will go into the finale of the open section of the TheCager Chess Championship. All right, Tog, you have been invited. General CR7, you have also been invited. These are the 2 highest rated players of both tournament brackets. Kind of crazy to realize Holland is now better than Ronaldo just because of his age. I don't keep up with football that much, but I've seen so many clips and like montages of Holland that I'm just gonna agree with you. All right, I feel like Ronaldo lost aura while freaking Messi has been like up and up. I feel like that debate, Messi and Ronaldo, was decided this World Cup. That's my take, at least. This is me not knowing anything about football. Gonna be honest. All right, General CR7 with the white pieces. Tog is here with the black pieces. Your goal is to give 3 checks to the enemy king. Whoever wins this will go on to the finale of the open section of the TheCager Chess Championship. Good luck. The game has begun. Oh, man. Ooh. Same, only watch this World Cup. Don't know shit about football. Messi is the GOAT. That's all I know. Like, this is the first World Cup that I've really watched. General CR7 with the strategy of playing very fast. Both players blitzing out their opening so far. The time control is 3-0, so you do not get any time back. Oh, man. All right, and we see a pawn break into the center of the board. If we see takes, if the bishop decides to drop out of the way, Kind of a wasted move by General, but I can understand it depending on like the actual. Yeah, and now this knight's gonna have to go back, and this can't be good. In regular chess or 3-check chess, this having all of your pieces kind of congealed, I guess, in the back is not great. But the pieces are slowly starting to break out. This pawn break is crucial, and it's kind of up to Tog to fully prevent the e4 pawn break from ever happening. Oh, man. I also know about the Mbappe special. Also that, yeah. And, of course, America's red card overturned, which was just stupid. That was a whole goofball of an event that happened. Haaland is a beast. People will glaze Ronaldo just because he was the greatest, but time doesn't forgive, unfortunately, like Ronaldo's ankles. Yeah. I mean, Messi still playing at like his level, being like 42. He is the LeBron of football, you know? All right, and now we see the knight coming out. We do see takes, probably recapture with the pawn. And then I might even want to see, this is a very interesting for both players. Neither side has been able to give a check yet, but I feel like the position maybe slightly favors black. I could be wrong about this. I feel like this bishop is going to really struggle to get out. And black, even though this bishop is staring straight into granite and is not doing anything with it, I feel like black is maybe slightly more active, but I think the position is probably just around equal. Messi is 39, really. Okay. I agree. I think Messi is the best right now. And we have takes. That's very interesting. You're going to be able to start giving checks. 2 checks will be able to give in immediately. If you take back, you can sacrifice the rook and you can sacrifice the queen. And then maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to bring this bishop around and give the final check. But decides not to take the bishop. I really like the gambit by Tog, kind of baiting his opponent into like overthinking it. I do believe that you probably could have captured there. But now the position is so much worse as all of the pieces are getting tied up, and now there's going to be multiple checks. This queen is going to come in. I think you had to take the bishop here, but it was a bluff by Tog from my quick analysis of it, at least. But now you can take. Now you can take with check. And now you can take back. And now we have check, or not check, but capture back. There's no mates yet, all right? The queen can try and give a check, but there really isn't anything at the moment. Queen slides over trying to give this check for free. Denies it. A check can still be forced. Black has to be very careful here. Black needs to find their down material. Tog is kind of sacrificing everything to try and take this one. Down a full rook at this moment. Still trying to infiltrate with the queen, giving any check possible. Rook blocks. Waiting for the bishop to try to come alive or the rook to try to come alive. I really don't see how either side can really get in. The rook does slide over, putting more pressure onto this pawn. White, having 2 lives left, has to be very careful here that there won't be any like just random 2 checkmates. Random 2-piece checkmates. Like, for instance, you could sacrifice here and then maybe, I don't know, there's always could be something. But White now infiltrating, taking a pawn. Tog down to 40 seconds, running very low on the clock. White, decently comfortable, now trying to give a check. You could sacrifice with check, take with the queen. No checks can really be given. That doesn't sacrifice the queen. Now the pawn is pushing. General, with a full minute 15 on the clock, Tog running down to 25. Is Tog going to get eliminated here? The queen drops back, still trying to threaten any sort of check. But I really don't think that there is anything. The pieces are all kind of held together right now. Pushes the pawn. We have takes. And then the knight jumps in, trying to almost deliver a checkmate, basically. Gives a check. You can't take back. You cannot take back the queen because then the pawn will give a checkmate. The pawn will give the final check, and that's going to be game. Has to slide over, and then you can give the final check and deliver the mate of the game. An incredible blunder by White, not realizing that this pawn comes with the final checkmate. Trying to go for this, which would have been game if there wasn't queen to f3. And that is going to be a win by Tog. An incredible comeback. I thought General CR7 had this one in the bag, especially with Tog only having 13 seconds left on the clock. Oh my goodness. General CR7 with the white pieces, you have been eliminated from the game. Tog is now moving on to the finale. Congratulations to Tog. Let's go back over to the 1700 under section. Truly an outstanding game. That was back and forth. I'm very surprised that you won that, Tog. You clutched that win. All right. Now, for our last game, Parth lost a life, I believe. It was Parth versus Demon HMY. Now it is Jewel General, Mr. 19 for real, and Derpole back on the wheel. All right. No matter what this will be, this is an elimination game. Jewel General, the only player in the tournament with 2 lives remaining, and does not get selected first. Is it going to be Mr. 19 for real versus Derpole? That would be a lucky break by Jewel. Let's go ahead and see what will happen. Will Derpole get selected? Oh my goodness. And Jewel General is going to go straight to the Final Four. All right, but peace out, Magnus. Thank you for participating. Jewel General with both of his lives. My goodness. That means it's going to be Mr. 19 for real versus Derpole. Both players with 1 life. One person will get eliminated here. Let's go ahead and see what the next game will be. All right. Mr. 19 for real, you do have a respin. Good luck, good luck. And it's just going to be straight up 3+2 blitz chess. Do you want to respin? Yes, Mr. Vegeta, you do have a respin. Do you want to respin blitz chess? You keep on getting selected here, which is very funny to me. You just have to avoid misclicking. All right. Mr. Vegeta, the choice is yours. What will you do? Tog is going for the Redemption Arc achievement. Lose a life in the very first game of the tournament and then win the tournament. Okay. This 3+2 blitz is the curse. So wants to respin and try to get another one. Derpole was ready to play there. It doesn't matter. The wheel has decided no matter what, you are going to be playing 3+2 blitz chess. I want Argentina to win, but I think Spain is going to win. No, you have no say here. 3+2 blitz chess was selected. All right. Both players, please go over to the variance page of chess.com and I will get you invited. He said respin, yeah. And I respun it and it landed on the same thing. That is just what happens. All right. Derpole, I have invited you. And Mr. 19 for real, I have also invited you. Derpole will have the white pieces. Mr. 19 for real will have the black. A player will get eliminated here. The other one will go into the Final Four. The time control is 3+2. You do get time back. You do get 2 seconds back every time you make a move. Good luck to both players. All right, we have D4. D5, we have a Queen's Gambit by white. I have played thousands of Queen's Gambits. This is generally considered a mistake in the Queen's Gambit as you're able to take back and then put 2 pawns in the center, but neither player doing that. Instead, we have a Queen's Gambit accepted. White now trying to re-win this pawn back early, putting 2 pawns into the center. A very strong start by white, getting pretty much everything that they want. Pushes the pawn, and then we just have a traditional Queen's Gambit accepted. Now, you should simply just take back, develop the knight, castle, maybe even play here if you want to, bring out the bishop. And then as black, you know, you want to get this bishop out, you want to castle, you want to get over here, and you want to eventually play for c5. The bishop does develop. There is a pin now on the knight, and immediately we see, but there is a counter to this. You have to play this. And now you can drop back. There's some ideas with push and then take, and then take. It could be weird. I don't really think that there is necessarily any benefit. I think it is probably best to take back with the pawn. I do not know. Because you also have to look, this light square bishop is staring directly at the G2 pawn. And if that capture happens, the rook is completely lost. So you have to be very careful here. Now, if we have takes, you have to defend this first. You can take back, actually, and we do just immediately have captures. That's very interesting. Can you just fully give the rook and take here? Now the queen is hit and the rook is hit. If we have takes, you will be able to take with promotion. If you take back, the queen lost. And we do have takes, but now you can take the rook with promotion, and I don't believe there's a checkmate, so that would be fine. Now you can take the rook with promotion, I believe. And even though black is going to get the rook back, white will have 2 queens. This is still really, I think this is almost completely winning for white now. Being up a full queen is insane. And now the rook is captured. But white does have a queen for it. You do get time back, but you still have to be cautious about the clock. Now trying to go for some sort of sacrifice here, which actually I think might borderline be winning. Slide over. There might be some lines here. We still have to be cautious. I'm not sure if you can sacrifice the bishop so early, but you might have the opportunity. I feel like it could get pretty creative, in my opinion. All right. White now down to a minute 40. Black with a 40-second time lead. We do have a bishop sacrifice. Bishop sacrifice is on the board. Now, I believe you do have to take back, and then the king will slide over. You cannot block with the bishop. You can block with the queen, but I don't think you really want to do that. And we have long castles. I was not expecting that. Oh my god. This is crazy. I didn't even see this. You cannot give another check. The knight is hanging. I didn't even notice that actually I did not see this. The knight is hanging, but I'm not sure if you even would have been able to take. Even if you take and then like slide over and stuff, the knight is still hanging. But only kind of. Because takes come up and then even takes, I believe that this queen could still completely win the game. And we see a check being given. I would have given it with the other queen. But then again, you might also have this check. Queen will have to drop back, and then that's going to be mate. That is going to be checkmate. You have to block, but it's not actually immediately mate. I apologize. But now the knight can come forward. The game isn't completely over. I believe the knight can come forward and can try to deliver a checkmate, but instead we have the rook sliding over, trying to attack. I think you try to trade off the queens now. We give a check. The knight now can come in and block. I do believe that this knight has to get active and try to deliver a mate here. Even though it isn't technically a mate. The queen now the bishop now drops back. White is now just up a piece, but down nearly a full minute on the clock. Oh, man. The queen drops back. Now threatening a queen trade. Curious to see what black's going to do now, being down a full piece. Being down 2 full pieces, actually a rook and a knight. We give a check. The queen trade is forced. Now we recapture. The king has to come forward, and that was just going into an endgame. It is 3+2. You do get 2 seconds back on the clock, so that's good. At least you won't run out of time here. But the game is pretty much over at this point. There's not really much for black to do other than trying to survive, I guess. And we do just have takes. And I believe that Tripoli will actually win this game and go on to the finale or the final 4 of the under 1700 section. But Tripoli can still throw this. All right. The game isn't over. Even though I would want it to be over, it might not be. All right. Because black still does have a 30-second time lead. And if Tripoli just somehow short circuits, it could be bad. And now the knight is hit. The knight will have to move. Where does it go? Drops back. Okay. I mean, solid move. No, you cannot claim win. You have to be up 30 points. You have to literally be up 30 points to claim a win, mate. I've explained that like several times. Gives a check. The king comes forward. The knights are defending each other. White is down to a minute. Now, generally what I would do is something along the lines of this and try to get another piece or just try to get a queen and take it home there. You can also now actually force trade off the bishops, I believe, by going here no matter what. But then you can't actually because it could be scary. But I think you are able to defend regardless. But you can't lose a knight. White down to 30 seconds. Running low-key kind of a lot lower on the clock than I would have preferred. We have a check. The knight hangs. We have takes. Then we have pawn takes, and the rook slides over, defending the promotion square. And now this is a win, and this is going to be a conversion. Yeah. We see the pawn takes, and now that pawn is going. Trying to run it up the board. All right. Interpole is going to go on to the final four unless something absolutely rambunctious and crazy happens. The pawn is going all the way down. And we're going to see a promotion by white and hopefully not a stalemate. All white needs to do is not stalemate this game, and they will win. All right? You know, borderline just give a ladder mate. Kind of. You still have to win this. There is now, I believe, a win here. I could be, yeah, it gives a check. King comes up, gives another check, slides over, gives another check, has to come here, and then that will be game. And that is a win for Derpole. Congratulations, beating Mr. Vegeta to go on to the final four. Very well played by Derpole. I'm very proud that you won this game. Good job, good job, good job, mate. And that means, Mr. For real, you survived. You tried your best. But you, sir, have been eliminated from the tournament. Thank you for participating. Derpole going on to the final four. Now in the under 1700 section, since there are only 4 players left, there will be no breaks in between matches. Every player will play again. Well, I mean, I guess in the final four, but with 2 lives. If everyone has 1 life, you know, we're going to do the. But now for our next, for playing into the open, it is going to be KV the best versus King XE4, no matter what. Let's see who's going to be playing with the black pieces and have the opportunity for a respin. All right. Derpole is around like 1300, I believe. All right, KV the best. You are being selected to play with the black pieces. You do have a respin. I believe General was eliminated. All right. So that means it's going to be KV the best versus King XE4. All right. All right. Peace out, Mr. Vegeta. Bye-bye. Let's go ahead and see what the game will be. Now, before the game happens, I low-key kind of have to use the bathroom. So, like, I'm going to run a 3-minute ad break, and then I'll be right back, okay? Because I low-key got to piss. So, I'll return in just a moment. See you in a second, guys. And then we'll finish out the tournament. All right, I am back. I also grabbed myself some coffee. Delicious. All right, are we ready? Are we ready to begin? Everyone back? Possibly? Maybe? Maybe? Possibly? Let's see what the game will be. For KV the Best versus King XE4. KV, you do have the option of a respin. It is going to be Atomic Chess. Do you want to respin this game, KV? Plot twist, Cager only. No, I look. I just don't want automatic ads. I wish I could have no respin. KV the Best does in fact want to play Atomic Chess. All right, it is going to be KV the Best versus King XE4. Took a little smoke. Yeah, 7 a.m. Like no, I don't smoke anymore. By the way. But we are gonna get Atomic Chess. Also, hey Peter, go. I hate you. I'm just kidding. I don't hate you, but yeah. All right, it's gonna be KV the Best versus King XE4. Who will go to face Tog in the finale? Atomic Chess. Pieces just straight up explode. That's the entire thing. They explode. Pawns don't explode. Pieces explode. So if you capture a knight, it explodes everything in a 3x3 area. Both players are in. KV the Best will have the black pieces. King XE4 with the white pieces. Good luck. Who will go to the finale to face off against Tog to win the Cager Chess Championship for the Open? King XE4 has the white pieces. KV the Best with the black. Good luck. Good luck. The knight now coming out early. It seems like KV has played quite a bit of Atomic Chess. So I would like to believe that they know a good chunk of theory here. KV, also only being around 1700 rapid, is the underdog of the open section. He absolutely needs this win. If KV is able to take this one, he is going to solidify himself as the David who took down both Goliaths. Okay? Going to need to beat KV the Best. I mean, going to need to beat King XE4 and Tog in back-to-back games to take this one. Will he be able to prove himself? I absolutely want to win this CCC. I have a big dopamine hit right now. Hey, Parth, I'm glad that I could be a streamer that gives you dopamine, okay? Because dopamine's hard to come by. It is, like, because, I mean, I'm one who suffers with ADHD. Like, I have ADHD a lot, okay? Dopamine is hard to come by. I'm happy I could give that to you. I'm glad that these are somewhat entertaining. You know, it makes me happy as a streamer that people enjoy this. Dealer for dopamine. Dude, why? Like, dead ass. Like, I'm very curious who's going to win the under section. I mean, Jewel does have 2 lives. CCC gives me dopamine. Fire. This is like probably one of the most original things that I have on my channel outside of like the Mario Party chess. I would like to think that I'm an original chess. I'm trying to like at least spice up the space a little bit, you know. Maybe I think we'll get good clips out of this tournament, possibly. I would like to think so. Because I am recording this without music, so I might be able to make some clips. I don't know yet, though. All right. Yeah, black drawing a bunch of arrows. Attacks the pawn. If the white knight were able to take here, the queen would kind of explode. But now the king just needs to slide over, and now you could take the rook and explode the pieces over here, or you can even take here. But it seems like white is trying to play very fast here. KV the Best only has 1:20 left on his clock. That can prove to be very difficult, especially in Atomic when you're really trying to calculate, not just losing the game instantly. Okay. The knight now offering itself up. If takes, then all of these pawns will kind of explode. Also, coffee. Never have I seen a more creative chess streamer. Thank you for the glaze. Actually, I guess it doesn't explode the pawns. Never mind. It does not explode the pawns. That is a skill issue on my part. Yeah, King XE4 is most definitely... Look, I'm not going to engage with that, okay? I'm not going to engage with all of that, okay? But now we do see the pawn pushing. The queen now trying to infiltrate. If the queen is able to give this check, the game will basically be over. If the queen is able to come here, the game will be over. You have to kind of block. You don't really have many choices here. I believe you have to block with the pawn. I could be, but then you can give a check. Is this game? Is King xe4 going to take this? Is this just straight up game? I don't see how you stop this. Apparently there is a move, but I don't see it. I do not know what the move is. But KV is spending some time trying to figure this out. KV is now begging for mercy in the chat. just begging for mercy. Down to 10 seconds. I don't think King xe4 is going to give it. Trying to ask for a draw, moves the pawn. King xe4 is saying no. We give a check with the queen now. The king will have to move, and then that will be game, no matter where the king goes. And that will be running out of time. You can now sacrifice the knight and explode the king. I believe, or just sacrifice. Okay, King xe4 being BMing a little bit, sacrificing the queen. I believe right here, the moment is queen to g5, where if you try to bring the queen here, you can counterattack and explode the king over here. You had to come here to keep the game going. This was the only move. Sacrificing the queen and the game would continue. I didn't see that. King xe4 did see it though. But that means KV the best. Dude, hey, you honestly lived up to the hype. All right? You didn't live up to the hype. You created the hype on your own and you played at that level. So I expect to see you playing in the open from now on, okay? You played fantastic. You were the underdog of this whole tournament. Congratulations. I mean, not congratulations, but you have been eliminated. And now the finale for the Open will be King xe4 versus Tog, and we will get to that in just a second. Let's go back over and visit our 1,700 and under participants. I believe, yeah, Jewel General, it was somebody lost a life. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to remember who lost a life. It was Parth. Parth lost a life, right? Do I have this right? Do I have all the lives correct? I don't believe I do. Who got eliminated? Mr. 19 for real did. Right. I did not have the wheel correct. But now we are back here. Let's see what will happen. Jewel General, the only one with 2 lives, looking very good to make it into the finale. Let's see what happens. And Jewel General is getting selected. Now we are in the final 4. So until Jewel General loses at least one of his lives, we're not going to go into any sort of bracket style format, and it is just going to be spin and spin and spin and spin. Jewel General, let's go ahead and see who your opponent will be. This will be an elimination match. Will it be Demon HMY, Parth, or Derpole? Who will it be? Good luck, good luck. And it's going to be Derpole. Derpole versus Jewel General. Derpole, you got to take this down. I believe you. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. All right. It is going to be Jewel General versus Derpole. Let's go ahead and spin to see what game will be played. Need to remove Atomic Chess from the board. All right, Jewel, you do have the option for a respin. Let's see what will be selected. Good luck. Good luck. And we're going to get 3-2 Blitz 960. Jewel General, you do have the option to respin. Do you want to? Or are you down to play 960? No respin. All right. So 3+2 Blitz 960 will be played. Both players, please go over to the variance page of chess.com and I will get you invited. Good luck to Derpole. Hopefully you can stay alive in the tournament. And good luck to Jewel. And let's see if you can have a very good, clean, perfect tournament. All right. Waiting for Jewel. All right, Jewel General, I have invited you. Derpole, I have also invited you. Jewel General, you will have the black pieces. Derpole, you will have the white pieces. Chess 960, the back row pieces are shuffled. The king has to be in between both rooks, and there has to be a light and dark squared bishop. Derpole will have the white. Jewel will have the black. Good luck. The time control is 3+2. You do get 2 seconds bonus time every time you make a move. All right, and the game has begun. Bishops on the outside of the board. Queen flip. This is a very unique board. I would like to thank for Chess 960. We have a completely symmetrical opening so far by both players, which is very interesting. The pawns aren't hanging, but like you could very quickly get an attack going with some ideas like this. I'm gonna change the music real quick. I did not mean to click on the Gracie Abrams announcement. All right, I feel like that would be good. Okay, but we have a very normal position so far. Nothing crazy happening. White taking more space and actually losing a pawn. Never mind. Jewel General is now up just a full pawn. The rook slides over, putting pressure onto the knight. The knight will have to move back. But that will just be a claimed pawn for black. Is it worth the extra development? Decides to bring out the knight instead of moving the other knight back. I like that play a lot, as now you're able to get more development of your pieces instead of just retreating this one and then leaving this knight back here. Now, this knight is firmly planted into the center of the board. Okay. Wait, what? Gracie Abrams has an announcement? Gracie, okay, wow, everyone, I was not expecting that. That's really funny that all of you were like that. My girlfriend listens to Gracie Abrams quite a bit. All right, the king's castles. I believe that was a castle, right? That was a castle. The rook phasing through the king. We now have a capture. I believe that is actually just straight up a blunder by black. Fully hanging the knight on that side of the board. I think that is just a blunder by castling. That is just fully a mistake. Now you can retake with the rook or the pawn. And Derpole is going to be up a full piece. But being down a full minute, it could get very dicey. Is Derpole going to be able to pull this off and actually be able to be the one to take off a life of Jewel General? Decides to drop the rook back, trying to rotate it over and put pressure onto the H-pawn. The rook comes forward. Probably planning on meeting the rook move with a rook move. You can even move a pawn. Decides to push a pawn. That's also just a totally fine move. Now, pieces need to come alive. Maybe we'll see castles. Maybe we'll even see a pawn break like this. This would be crazy. I don't think it works, though. Oh, man. You listen to... What's my favorite artist? My favorite artist is Nothing But Thieves. I guess they're more of a band, but they are my favorite, like by like miles, okay? Nothing But Thieves is my favorite, by the way. Your favorite artist? Oh, I know The Neighborhood. Oh, The Neighborhood has fire music. I think we kind of listen to some of the same stuff. But I went and saw Nothing But Thieves live. Oh, dude, they're so good. I thought you liked Derpole's art. I do. We're talking musical artists. Unless you're trying to make a pun or a joke. Derpole is running low on time. Derpole needs to make a move. Decides to castle. An interesting idea. But spending way too much time there. Now down to 46 seconds. They're a top 5 too. Fire. And I'm excited for the new album. I'm very excited for the new album. The queen slides down. Now pushing the pawn. I think that might be a little bit of a mistake, as I do think bishop takes. It's just there. As it's only defended by one piece. But instead, the queen drops back, and now this pawn is fully anchored. White down to 30 seconds. Derpole needs to start playing faster, or time trouble is going to be a demon. Oh my goodness. Needs to make a move. It's feeling the pressure. Fully feeling the pressure. Brings up the rook. Trying to still go for a checkmate. That rook comes over, trying to play defense. White needs to play faster. Running dangerously low on the clock, down to 15 seconds. Now bringing the queen. I love that move. Now we need to see a play. We need to see White make a move here. Anything. Down to 9 seconds, down to 10 seconds. Queen drops back. Rook slides over. Defends with the pawn. You do get 2 seconds back, so it should be okay. Immediately dropping the knight back. We have takes. Takes. Bunch of exchanges happening. This only benefits White. Queen now comes over. We have takes. Defended. Offering a trade. Gives a check. Has to come up. Blocks with the queen. Gives another check. Queen blocks. This rook is kind of not doing anything. We have takes. I believe that's a mistake by black. You needed to keep the queens on the board. Now white is going to be able to rally. Getting the rook out of jail. Still down to 20 seconds, but coming back. Bishop comes up. Immediately attacked. Bishop will have to move. White down to 10 seconds. He's got to move the bishop. Okay? Moves it back to e4. Gives a check. Now the rook comes over. Black king comes down. Continues to come down. Rook now trying to get behind the pawns. King can move. Discovered attack. Drops back. God, I need to find better music. Oh my god. No. No. Sure, that works. Derpole might be able to take this one. Hanging on by a goddamn thread. Slides over, attacking the pawn from behind. You can now take. King trying to infiltrate. Rook is going to be able to take another pawn, and then these pawns are going to go promote, but you got to be cautious. There's no checkmates, but this rook... Oh, but the bishop actually does a pretty decent job at defending any mates like that. Rook sliding behind. Bishop coming over, trying to attack more pawns. There are no mates. White needs to make a move. You could have taken the pawn here. Trying to deliver a checkmate. Avoids it. We have takes. Pawns are falling. White is now up a bishop and three pawns. Up a ton of material. A rook trade would be crucial right there. Defending. Rook comes over. This pawn is now going to start to go. You could push it. Even if we have that trade, it's going to be completely winning on this side of the board. Derpole just has to lock in for these last 15 seconds. Forced exchange. And now these pawns are going to go. Unless the king gets behind. Gives a check. Gives another check. King runs. You have to be cautious not to stalemate this. I don't think I think having two pawns, it's not a stalemate. You can now push. Give a check. And then you got to be careful. Gonna have to run over, and that's gonna be checkmate. Oh, man. And Derpole takes it down. Winning the game. Getting as low as about 4 seconds on the clock. Derpole is taking a life off of Jewel General. Very well done. Apparently I did miss a Derpole. He blundered a bishop through a fork. I guess I did miss a blunder at one point in this final. Oh, wow. Right here. Takes. And then this would be a draw. Look at that. Absolutely insane. A huge miss by Jewel General. Actually able to win it. Amazing from Derpole. Jewel General, you have lost your first life, and there goes your perfect run. But all right. And now we are going into the finale of the open section, where it's going to be King xe4 versus Tog. All right. This is the rivalry, all right? This is Magnus Hikaru. Who's who? That's yet to be decided, okay? But this is legitimately the matchup that we see time and time again. Oh, my goodness. You heard the TikTok sound from chess.com about 10 times? That's funny as hell. All right. Let's see who's going to get the black pieces and who's going to get the respin. All right. Let's see what will happen. And Tog is going to get the black pieces and the power of a respin. Okay, okay. Let's go ahead and see what the game will be. Still quite a lot of options. There's several, all the blitz is gone. There's setup, chess, torpedo. Quite a few options. Okay. Tog, you do have a respin. What will it be? And it's going to be 1-0 bullet chess 9 and 60. Do you want to respin? Do you want to respin, Tog? You have the choice. Respin is deciding to respin. Now it can land on that once again. All right, all right. Instead, we're going to get torpedo. Basically regular chess, except your pawns can always move 2 squares. It is just not a first move thing. Your pawns can always move 2 squares. All right. Let's go ahead and get the game set up. Tog, you will have the black pieces, king xe4 with the white. And it is torpedo. This will decide the finale of the open section of the TheCager Chess Championship. Who will take it home? Who will take the crown? Both players have had a fantastic tournament so far. Waiting for them to go over to the variance page. You lost to someone in this last time, but no torpedo moves were made. That's kind of funny. Waiting for both players to go over to the variance page of chess.com. I've invited Tog, waiting for king xe4 to get over there. King xe4. Please go over to the variance page. I'm waiting as patiently as I possibly can. There has never been a streamer with more patience than I have right now. All right. King xe4, I've invited you. This is the finale of the TheCager Chess Championship for the open section. King xe4 with the white pieces. Tog is here with the black pieces. It is torpedo, 3 minutes, no time back. You can always move pawns 2 squares. Let's get it. Both players, 1 life left. This is what everything has been building towards. And we have a pre-move Duras Gambit in torpedo, which is wild. I love that, honestly. The pawn has been recaptured. Okay. And now we're going to be playing normal chess. Imagine 8 players being in both sections would be so lit. That would take a second. That would take a very long time. This is like how long I want the tournaments typically to be. I would have to have like a multi-day tournament, or maybe run one on Friday, the other one on Saturday, something like that. It's a matter of time. We have takes. All right. And then immediately undoubling the pawns. Another pawn sacrifice as well, actually. Trying to push this pawn one more. Trying to, I guess, make that pawn lose. And we see g4. g4 being played by white, immediately attacking the bishop, defended by 2 pieces. The bishop will have to move. Great plays by both players. Very exciting game so far. Just to remind you, torpedo would you are able to push this pawn twice. You're able to push the pawn like this. Honestly, it would take 3.5 hours. You can manage that low key. Yeah, but the thing is I have to manage everyone has to manage 3.5 hours. You know, everyone who wants to play in the tournament would have to be there for the full length, at least unless you get eliminated. You know, that's the issue that I have. It's not generally just for me. It's for the other people participating in it as well. The knight now jumps in, a very interesting move. The bishop, now almost trapped, can drop back. Then we might have takes. This could get very weird. This could get very exciting. We could even have a torpedo. Tog down to 2 minutes. King xe4 with a slight time lead. All right. Tog now spending his longest think of the game, trying to figure out, decides to take the knight. White with the immediate recapture. The bishop is now still stuck. The bishop can drop back. Decides to come forward, now attacking the rook. Immediately getting attacked again. White drawing lines. If the pawn is taken, the queen would slide over and try to deliver mate over here. We have takes. Is that a blunder? Is there any way to avoid this checkmate? The queen would have to come down. You give a check, slide over. There was multiple opportunities for queen a4 to be played. Where the pawn could push. Like, there were multiple opportunities where queen a4 could have been played. I'm not sure about it now, though. There might still be, but we could see. Black, now down to a minute, brings the queen forward. Now, if you give a check, the king can run. If you give this check, the king can run. And I don't see how you continue. Tog down to under a minute. King xe4 with double the time lead. But the game will be decided shortly. Whatever this tactical. Back who won, doesn't matter, still won life. This is the finale of the Open, by the way. This is, oh, you were talking about Jewel General, but this is the finale of the Open. King x4 really trying to figure this out. There were multiple opportunities for queen to a4 being played. Decides to bring the bishop up. An interesting idea. Arguing that this king can still never run as this fork is always threatened. You can't give a check. Oh, well, I guess it's not threatened. Never mind, because duh. All right, white needing to make a decision. I'm not really sure what white does here. I feel like white has lost all their momentum, and black is now firmly planted. And black is up a pawn. Both players down to under a minute now. Now, these pawns can, by the way, still be pushed like crazy. They can still go. They can still fly down the board if they wanted to. And we do see a pawn push. We have takes, and we have an exchange happen. Fully exchanged. The material is equal now. Completely equal. I feel like white's position may be slightly better. I believe the bishop is hit. Almost what I thought was a fork. But you see that the bishop is offering a trade. Decides to drop back. The fork is still threatened. How do you stop it? You have to slide over like this. Or you can attack. But I believe that this is... But then you can give this check. Or just that. And now the rook falls. Now you can even take another piece, but I would be careful. I would defend first. We see the pawn. We see our first torpedo. The pawn moves 2 squares, finally. Guess the elo wasn't yesterday, actually. Normally it is, but like chess.com was down for majority of the time. So we weren't actually able to run it. And now white is just up in exchange. We might run it after the tournament today. It depends on how I'm feeling. I might also just go straight to GeoGuessr because I kind of want to play GeoGuessr. I will probably do Guess the Elo tomorrow then. Depending, I guess. All right, the rook is now infiltrating, trying to get behind and attack the pawns. These pieces are kind of stabilized. Now, I would love to see a torpedo forward, trying to push the pawn, shove it forward, you know. But we see the rook sliding over. We have an exchange of pawns over here, and this pawn will fall, or the king will drop back first. What happened there? King xe4 with an untimely blunder. I didn't realize how low they were on time. You do not get any time back. Down to 3 seconds. Tog with 5. The king is now on the run. We see a check being given. The king is still running. And white is going to run out of time. I completely forgot about the time control. King xe4 with running completely out of time and blundering their rook. And that means at King xe4, you lost. You're not going to get back-to-back champion victories, man. And that means Tog, finally, after multiple tournaments, you have been crowned the winner. Hold on, I gotta do something. I'm doing something real quick. Give me a second. Give me like 1 second. There's a crown. Okay. Fuck. Oh, I'm skill issuing. Oh no. Congratulations to Tog. You have won the open section of the TheCager Chess Championship. Very well done. Good job, Tog. Very proud. And now we're going to finish out the under 1700 section and see who's going to take that down. Every player is down to 4 lives, so we're going to do it bracket style. Minimum sleep required to win CCC is 2. That's crazy. 2 hours. Oh, man. All right. Now we're going to go into the under 1400 section where everyone is going to play. It is going to be bracket style. So it's going to be how the open functioned with 4 remaining people. 2 players will play. The other 2 will also play, and then they will be in the finale. So we have 3 games left of the tournament. All right. Let's see who's going to get selected to play first. The winner of the under 1700 will have to win the next 2 games to win it all. And it is going to be Parth Chess being selected first. Okay. Let's see who they are going to be playing against. Who will their opponent be? This is where it all matters. All right. This is where your nerves start to get shaky. You need to lock in. So it is going to be Parth Chess versus Derpole. Derpole will have the white pieces. Parth Chess will have the black pieces. Let's go ahead and see what game will be selected. There are only so many left on the board. All right. And there's still a free sub, which I low-key think a free sub is going to land right here. If I'm, yeah, I knew it was going to happen. All right, let's see who's going to get the free sub, boys. Let's see who's going to get the free sub. Who's it going to? Who's it going to? I need to go to channel. That's right. Sorry, I'm messing up. Give me a second. All right, who's going to get the free sub? It happens every tournament. Who's going to get the free sub? It happens every tournament. Who's going to get the free sub? All right. Who will it go to? Who will it go to? And it's going to L4BR47, I guess. Yay! Woo! Hip hip hooray! Congratulations, you were the one who was picked. Very well done. All right, L4BR47. Not even following me, but you get the sub. Maybe we do something else next time for the random free sub, because hey, he's been watching this entire time though. So I mean, yeah, maybe we should do sub for chat. I think we should probably doing that. He's been here for the entire tournament, so hey, I mean, give him a sub, I guess. But we will fix that for the next time, because I am just kind of wasting money on that. All right, let's see what the game will be. And it's going to be 1-0 Bullet Chest 960. Do you want to play this, Parth? Parth, you have the choice, or do you want to respin? What will it be? Saying okay. All right, we have 1-0 Bullet Chest 960. It is finally getting played. It has been spun so many times, but it is finally getting played. All right, all right. Both players, please go over to the variance page, fchess.com, and I will get you invited. It is 1-0 Bullet Chest 960. You do not get any time back. Jerpole, my recommendation to you is to not try to find the best moves. Just play as fast as you possibly can, okay? No think, just move. All right, that is your goal. That is how you stay alive here. I believe in you. And Parth, you got this, brother. You'll probably do just fine. But Jerpole has been an underdog for every tournament that he's been in. I really want him to do that. Oh yeah, also, did you see that Queen A4 was just mate for like 4 moves in a row? I just decided to play Hope Chess. I actually did not see that. I only saw Queen A4 after you pointed it out, which is actually crazy that there was just mate on the board for several turns. You know, I hate how Twitch just gives subs to a completely random human who opened the stream one time. It should be a random concurrent viewer. I agree, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, Derpole, I will invite you back. All right. Now, Parth Chess will have the black pieces. Derpole with the white. Let's get this. 1 minute Bullet Chess 960. The back row pieces are shuffled. Winner of this goes into the finale. Good luck. Okay. Parth with the black. Derpole with the white. The time is ticking. We have G3, followed by F3. All right, playing, yeah, Parth knows what's up. Trying to play just very fast. No strategy, just go. White spending some time. Any second lead is a mile. It feels like a mile. Who's going to take this? Winner of this goes on to the finale. Both players have had very good tournaments. White, seeing that they blundered a pawn, is now overthinking this. They need to play faster. You cannot spend 10 seconds here. It immediately blunders the rook. Oh, but moves out of the way. Gives another check. The rook was actually hanging there. The queen comes up. White now pushes. Black up a full 20 seconds, but that is probably the deciding factor. The knight now jumping in with a fork on the rook and the queen. Takes. We have an exchange happen. Black with a 20-second time lead. The queen now coming up. The bishop doing a very good job. Sliding the rook over, trying to find a checkmate. There is nothing. The queen slides over. We now have to see capture. Does not capture back with the pawn. Decides to slide the king over. We do see takes. Now we have takes again. Queen drops out of the way of the attack. The rook is hanging. Or, the bishop was hanging. Decides to block. Gives another check. The queen is not hanging. Can recapture back. Now the bishop does not see it. Neither player sees it. I think black did see it. White is down to 10 seconds. Black with 30. I think the game is going to get decided here. I think Derpole is going to run out of time. And the game will probably be over. Unless there's a crazy checkmate to happen in the next few moves. I do believe that black will take this game on time and time alone. And the game is over. White now trying to pre-move, but it is too soon, too late. Dirpole, you had an outstanding tournament, but Parth Chess is going to take that one down and move on to the finale. But Dirpole, hey, you played great, all right? For your return game after not playing for a while, you played fantastic. All right. But Dirpole, you have lost your last life, and you have been eliminated from the tournament. Thank you for participating. Always love to have you here. Parth, you're moving on to the finale. Congratulations. That means the final two competitors are going to be Jewel General and Demon HMY. Let's see who's going to get the black pieces and a respin. Who will it be? Oh, yeah, Tog, I will gift you a sub. Just remind me. I'm not going to do it right. Actually, can I do it right now? Yeah, there you go. All right, there's your sub. Congratulations on winning. And look at your sub guy, by the way. Custom badges now. So Demon HMY is getting selected. Demon HMY will have the black pieces. Jewel General will have the white. Let's go ahead and see what game will be. We have Petrified, 1-0 Bullet Chess, Duck Chess, and Setup Chess. What will the game be? And it's going to be Duck Chess. The time control will be 3+2. Demon HMY, do you want to respin this? Bring it. All right, Demon HMY is ready to play. All right, both players, please go over to the variance page of chess.com. I will get you invited. The time control will be 3+2. Normally it's going to be 3-0, but because it's Duck Chess and you have to place the duck, we have kind of decided as a community to make it 3+2. All right, Demon HMY and Jewel General, I am inviting you now. I wish you the best of luck, guys. Whoever wins this will go to the finale. They will face off against Parth. Demon HMY with the black pieces, Jewel General with the white. Duck Chess, if you do not know, regular chess, except every move you're able to place a duck on the board that kind of acts like a brick wall. Pieces cannot move through it, and you cannot move the duck. All right, the time control is 3+2. Good luck. Who will go to the finale? Will it be Jewel General or will it be Demon HMY? Oh my goodness. Everyone say quack. Bruh. Wait, it's the benefit. What are we talking about? It is to the benefit of the streamer. I mean, I do get money back, like stick months later because I get a free sub to the stream. Hey, you don't know that, Dublin, though. I mean, generally, I would like to give subs to people who will actually use it, but it's fine. I mean, it's just kind of how it goes. It is what it is. But already, Jewel General being up a pawn, utilizing the duck to block the recapture of the with the queen and the knight. Demon HMY spending his sweet time trying to figure this one out. The duck being placed to block the movement and development of the queen and the knight. We do see capture and placing the duck right in front of the queen, really trying to halt the development. We probably see recapture with the knight, and we do. The bishop needs to get out. The knights need to get out. We do see the knight developing and still placing the duck in a very prime spot. If you've watched Red Rising, prime is a great term. Should do a wheel for the sub then? I agree. I think we should do that. You know? I think that would be better. It would make it more exciting too. I could just like copy over the viewer list, or like a majority of the viewer list at least. All right, but we do see the duck now being placed by black to prevent white from castling. I like the strategy. Very fascinating strategy. Duck still being used to block the development and stopping from castling. Both players still with more than 2 minutes on the clock. This is a very competitive back and forth by both players. God, I am so happy I got coffee. I needed my coffee so badly. I don't think you understand how badly I needed this goddamn coffee in my system. I'm alive. And I'm doing fine, but oh my god, I needed this coffee. Okay. The duck still being placed to prevent castling. Now being placed to prevent the bishop from getting out. Also technically preventing black from castling as well. All right. Now, the knight, removing its natural retreating square, having to make it go off to the side, which could be interesting, decides to push the pawn. Push the pawn and go there. Counterattack on the knight. So if we have takes, but if you have takes, the bishop is still hit. But then you could have counter takes, and it could get very spicy. I also noticed that the queen is kind of tag teaming with all the. It's going to make them calculate. Black does decide to take, and now the only move really is to capture back. Oh, but you're going to have to place the duck back. I noticed that the bishop is now staring directly into the queen, so you have to be very cautious about where you put the duck. If we recapture, put the duck back here, I think that's the only move. That's the only, deciding, only thing that you can do now. What if it made sense? What if we were living in a perfect... Okay, I'm not going to sing. I apologize. Demon H and Y down to 1:17, running very low on the clock. Jewel General with a full 30-second time lead, which could very well be the deciding factor. I'm going to be honest with you. Knight E6 apparently was missed. Knight E6 here. What? Okay, I guess I probably missed something. But I don't even think there was ever a knight that could have captured here. I apologize. Maybe I missed something. I don't know if I know. Okay, the ducks are actually just going back and forth, but I honestly find hilarious. For white, it was check, duck on E7, like 5 moves back. Okay, I probably won't revisit it, but I trust you that there was probably a miss. Now the knight comes in, putting pressure onto the light square bishop. And over here, if you know some possibilities, we do see castles by white, or castles by black, sorry. White also still just straight up has the opportunity to castle, but is kind of delaying it for the time being. I really love this back and forth. The duck is actually just going in between these two squares constantly. Decides to move the duck up this time. Now the bishop has no line of sight. All right, very good coffee. Demon H and Y down to 40 seconds. Jewel General nearly with a full minute time lead. Bishop now coming out, putting pressure onto the knight. The knight will either have to move or capture. One of them will have to happen, and we do see a capture. The queen will retake, I believe. You could also retake with the pawn. I think retaking with the pawn and then just moving the duck here or here would also be totally fine. But takes with the queen, and the pawns are still doubled. Jewel General with a full minute lead. I think the time is going to be the deciding factor in this and putting them into the finale. Demon H and Y with 30 seconds, and the clock is still ticking. Does not slow down for anyone. We do see takes. But now you can take back and then place the duck here to prevent the queen from recapturing immediately. Interesting placement of the duck. I believe that was probably a misclick. The bishop does just need to move. Bishop drops back, presumably to try to go here and have line of sight on this skewer, I believe. I think the knight will be able to kind of interpose and block, but general idea. And we do see it happen. Now the knight does get in front. We could probably see a rook developing. For black, just need to play faster and keep it together. We all have, because it's a floored system, at the very least, Twitch should let the gifter decide if they want to be a community gift or a random gift. I mean, fair, actually. I can't even knock that. I remember I randomly gifted a sub and it went to like Witty Alien or something, and he wasn't even like watching. I have no idea why that happened. I don't know necessarily what the criterion is for the random gifted sub. But we do see a recapture with the pawn. Black down to 15 seconds. You do get 2 seconds back. White trying to figure out their move. Probably, yeah, developing the queen, putting pressure onto these two pawns. I like the play a lot. I think there will be an opportunity to recapture. Black down to 6 seconds, 5 seconds and ticking. Is this going to be... Is the game going to be over very shortly? Now pushing the pawn. You can now take the queen. The pawn will fall, though. White decides to take. Okay. Queen recaptures. But now the duck is going to fall. You got to be... I mean, you got to move, though. You got to move the duck. You got to move the queen, at least. This could be a mistake by white. You got to be very careful. Does drop the queen back. And puts the duck, blocking the bishop from having coordination with the queen. Black down to 1 second. 3 seconds on the clock for black. 20 on the clock for white. Any move could be winning. 10 seconds. Both players under 10 seconds on the clock. We see queen to f5. Black being able to play it fast enough. The duck in the center of the board. We do have captures. White's clock is ticking. Both players around the same amount of time. Black needs to make a move. 4 seconds on the clock for them. 7 seconds on the clock for white. We have takes. White down to 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Both players playing as fast as they possibly can. Placing the duck becomes difficult. I think Jewel General might have I think Demon HMY might have this. We now have captures. 7 seconds on the clock for black. 1 second on the clock for white. Oh, barely makes the move in time. Running out of the clock. And Demon HMY is going to take it. Demon HMY, who is super low on the clock, is going to win this over Jewel General. And Demon HMY is going to go on to another finale. Oh my goodness. That came down to the wire. Jewel General having 2 lives going into the final 4 and losing both of them in back-to-back games. Demon HMY is going into the finale. Oh my goodness. Jewel General, thank you for playing. You had it all, but you have been eliminated from the tournament. And that means the finale is going to be Parth Chess versus Demon HMY. I would be happy with either of these wins. Honestly, both players deserve it now. Also, Chess Jockey, see ya. Okay, will Demon HMY break the curse, or will Parth get his first win as well? Good luck to both players. Let's go ahead and see who will get the respin. Who will get the black pieces and who will get the respin? Will it be Demon HMY or Parth? This is the final game. And the respin is going to go to Parth Chess, who will also have to play with the black pieces. All right. Parth Chess gets it. These are the remaining games. 1-0 Bullet Chess, Setup Chess, and Petrified. Good luck. Good luck. What will the game be? Is it going to be Petrified or Bullet Chess? It is going to be 1-0 Bullet Chess. Now, Parth, do you want to respin? HMYK is saying to bring it. Wait, hold on. Yeah, Parth, do you want to respin? Don't respin. All right, the finale for the 17 and under Cager Chess Championship section is going to be 1-0 Bullet Chess. Let me go get the game set up. I will invite both players. Everything is leading up to this. 1 minute on the clock. No time back. Demon HMY, you've been invited. Parth Chess, you've been invited. Good luck. And may the spoils go to the victor. All right, Parth, I have invited you. Both players are in. Both players are now in. Demon HMY with the white pieces. Parth Chess with the black pieces. It is 1 minute bullet. No time back. The tournament will be decided here. We go. Good luck. Good luck. And we have E4, E5, Night Out. We have a very normal E4 game. Pieces getting developed. We have a completely symmetrical position. All right, black castles early. White getting all of their minor pieces out. Blocks with the bishop. Blocks the pin with the bishop. We now have castles by white and pushing E... Oh, I can't speak. We now have takes, and now pushing A4. The bishop is now hit. The bishop drops back. Knight drops back. We have the rook sliding over. Both players playing incredibly fast. This is how bullet should be played. And then pushing. I love that play as well. The knight will have to move. Jumps into the center of the board. We have takes. Both players with 45 seconds. We have takes. And is that a blunder? No, that is, material is still equal. I apologize. But I do believe that black is, or white is up a pawn. White is up a pawn at the moment. But their pawns are all separated. This is anybody's game right now. We have takes. White's pawns completely separated. Black's pawns are together. Black now brings up the rook, attacking both of these pawns. Decides to push. King now coming over. Bishop now defending the pawn and placing itself, separating all the pawns here. The rook now comes up, putting pressure here. And a pin! And a pin on the rook on the king! Black is now up. And a fork! And a fork is delivered! And white takes the rook. Demon HMY is now up a full bishop with equal time on the clock. Takes another pawn. Will he be able to convert this game? The pawn is going. It will make it down the side of the board. And we have a promotion. And the queen gets in front. We have a check. And that is checkmate! A crazy checkmate on the side of the board. The bishop cutting off the king, giving a check with the queen, and that means Demon HMY is the winner of the Cager's Chess Championship 1700 under. The curse has finally been broken. Parth Chess, you played fantastic with a crazy exchange in the middle of the board. Or just crazy forks and everything went there. But Demon HMY, you win it all! Yay, Demon HMY, woo! It's about damn time you won it. I don't have a second crown made. But you do take the tournament victory. The win is very well deserved. Demon HMY, you fought your hardest and you won all of your matchups. Except for one, of course, but well done. I applaud you. Tog and Demon HMY. But everyone, thank you for participating in the TheCager Championship. I hope you enjoyed yourself and were entertained by this. We had some crazy matches. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow or sub if you want to do that as well. That'd be sick. And see ya if you are leaving now. But we're going to do Guess the Elo now. So, I mean, shoot if you want to stay for that.